Hello. Hello, hello. God, no one's online. Holy shit. Straight in? No, DM. Oh.
Match found.
Okay.
Death match. Warm up.
Maybe I do warm up without my headphones on. No, that's a stupid idea. Okay. Okay.
Dominating.
What the heck is SNT on?
Dominating.
Okay. 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 No, the crouch.
There's no need for the enemy to suffer. Kill them fast.
Fight.
It begins. Kill confirmed.
Okay. No, my hair. Okay.
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal.
Dominating.
Okay. Ah. Okay.
Holograph.
My turns are so slow now with my low sends.
Dominating.
Dang it. Okay. Hello. How? Oh
10
my.
kills remaining. Dominating.
Scrap metal.
Scrap metal.
5 kills remaining.
My crosshair too big. Okay. Okay. Oh, I thought I got her.
1 kill remaining. 1 minute remaining. 30 seconds left. 10 seconds left.
Yes. Okay, close enough. I'll take it. Deceased soul. Okay. What do I have? Oh my god, I need to do the connections for today.
Match found.
Sir Seaman. Or do I do fade? Willie, how you doing? How you doing? How's your day? It's just past midday, so going well so far. Oh my god, I thought I was choking. It's bloody pouring and it's bloody cold and I want to turn my heater on. But apart from that, doing well. How are you going? How's your day been? Are we happy with this? Are we happy with this?
Watch out, way.
Okay.
My crew is coming through.
I have my blanket on my lap. Trying to keep warm. Okay. It's 10:45. I don't do much. Just chilled at home driving with my mom. Oh, nice. What did you just like watch movies, watch shows, play games? What did you do? Are you sleeping soon? Is it bedtime?
No,
soon?
you cannot eat the radianite. Okay, maybe just a little.
Wait, we're like 10 hours apart. Every morning, I wake up and then I check what Taylor Swift played on her surprise songs for a concert. I watched the end of the VCT NA matches and it was great. Mostly Valorant and anime. Oh, what anime are you watching? Do you watch the VCTs as well? Do you watch the VCTs?
Enemy B. Enemy A. Smoke's down.
Dizzy's up top. Someone's there.
Reloading.
Careful now.
I'm blind.
Reloading.
Spike's ticking. Thanks, little man.
Molly.
There's my buddy. You did good.
Enemy A.
They're not ready. They're not ready. They're not ready.
One enemy remaining.
Up and away.
Last player standing.
Okay, she's blind. Nice team. Oh. Okay, okay.
Chamber, don't listen to her. You look
All
great.
right. Oh my god, I got hit by so many people. Windows deliver. Okay.
I'm gonna
Reloading.
buy. Andale.
I imagine Cypher plays here.
Stim beacon down. Launching smoke.
Reloading.
Going up.
Dizzy's up. Someone's
Oh, Jesus.
Reloading.
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 That is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like that.
There's one more close, yeah.
Hot shot. I don't think so. Smoke's down.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
They found my trap.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted. Thank. I got you. I got you.
Enemy A.
$85. 85.
Only 5.
Run and gun, ready, go.
Okay.
We got 5.
He's going
That's
down.
bingo.
Callan! How's it going? It's going well, thanks.
That
How are
was
you?
good.
Are you staying
Another
dry?
round, yes.
It is bloody wet and bloody cold this
Hold
weekend,
it,
wasn't it?
hold it.
I went out to the food and wine show in the city and it was pouring rain when I left. Pouring rain when I was coming back. It was no bueno.
Does anyone have funds?
Spike is...
Reload him.
Staying dry and warm this weekend? Good,
Reloading.
Stim beacon down.
Somebody's there.
Beacon down. Reloading.
Wingman's planting.
Molly. Going up.
They shot my wing. Sana.
Launching smoke. Careful now.
I got.
Okay.
Spike down B.
Plank,
Last
plank,
player
plank, plank.
standing.
NT. Was at least fun, the food and wine? Yes, it was. It was very fun. It's the first time I think I've ever
It
been,
seems
but I
these
know that
strangers
it's been
want me
around
dead.
for a long time.
But
But yeah, it was at the ICC, which was really nice. It was so wet in the city though. Like, it was pouring rain. very crowded, but also like you get to try everything. Like it was a place where like they have so many of those stalls, and you try all of the testers. And like if you really liked alcohol, there was so much alcohol, like wine from the Margaret River region,
you,
wine from South Yarra. Is it South Yarra? The one in South Australia.
Stim beacon here.
Like wine from everywhere. So it was really cool. We bought some lychee
Smoke's
beers.
down.
Dizzy's up top.
Enemy spotted A.
Going up.
Plant the spike, Wings. Back to me.
Reloading.
Spike's ticking. Thanks, little. I got you.
Careful now.
Flank, one flank.
Yeah, it's Slapper.
Right there.
Oh my fucking god.
It's all you, little homie.
Smoke open.
80.
Smoke open.
Dizzy's up. Somebody's there. Want to go again?
Play molly.
Last player standing.
Play your molly.
One enemy remaining. It's all you, Mosh.
You gotta spray it, you gotta spray it.
Thrash is ready.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
Clutch.
Oh
Respectfully,
my.
you couldn't stop one guy, for real.
Oh my. Just found out the weekly missions don't go away. What do you mean they don't go away? Like these ones? Oh wait. I've done all. What do you mean? They would have been more interested in the food part, not the wine part. The food was great as well. What did I try? Like different cheeses, meats, pastas.
Hey, other me. Sorry in advance.
What else? There was a lot of food as well. I felt like
Get
I
out
wasn't
of my
hungry
way.
afterwards because I just snacked so much on like bits and pieces.
So obviously.
The hunt begins.
Oh, I need to sneeze.
There's
Here.
someone back here. Don't know.
I know exactly where you are.
Launching smoke.
Enemy killed.
Up and away.
I'm blind.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Open up the
Blow
sky.
him up, Mosh. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. You did.
Oh, thank. Nice. They
Last
stay
player
stored when the weeks
standing.
pass.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, nice.
That's it, break time. My ultimate's ready.
Oh.
Who else is having a great time?
Wait, so they don't change? They just stay the same and they just repeat over and over again? What's the point of the weekly missions now that we don't like? The points you get from it are weird. Like what? What's the point of them? Oh, plus 150 plus 1000 XP. What's the point of XP anyways? You know?
Stim beacon down. Launching smoke. Come on, let's go. Here. No, you go.
Up you go.
My ult is ready.
Wingman's planting.
Enemy spotted A.
Back to me.
Careful now.
Reloading.
Spike's ticking. There's my buddy. One enemy remaining.
There they are.
Couldn't just be
Huh?
friends, huh?
I'll teach him to
Oh, they do
respect
change.
their elders.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I guess I don't really like. They don't really provide much benefit for me anymore, so I don't really look at them. Oh my god, Happy Monkey Boy, how you doing? How you doing? What movies have you watched this weekend? What have you watched? I want to know. Is the most useful thing for the even if you have battle pass. Yes, Kingdom Points. So you only get like 150 per checkpoint, anyways, which is like minimal. So I'm like, what's the point? Like, they don't give you that much. Dosing, how you doing? How you doing?
Enemy
You
spotted.
alright? Baby.
Blind.
Rain is down. Stim beacon down.
Dizzy's up top. Dizzy has targets.
Come make Ace clear. Everyone's in. Yeah, but-
Oh my.
Plant the spike, Wings. Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. Rash is ready.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Oh my god. Boyhood, say anything like. Oh! Hello? Say anything, Ladybird. Oh my god, what do you think of Ladybird? That was the one that won the Oscar, right?
Ace.
Wait, he got an ace? That's right, NRG versus. I watched the end of it. I'm not gonna lie, I was asleep for the first part of it, but I watched the end of it. That was a crazy comeback by NRG. A fake comeback, but a crazy comeback nonetheless. Who are you rooting for? Dude, what the fuck, man? What was the Chamber doing? He wanted to style on him and then he didn't shoot. I blame the Chamber. Splendid, I love coming of age. Oh! Do you like, have you seen Perks of Being a Wallflower? That's not a coming of age, right?
Get out of my way!
Smoke's down. Going up.
Give me those dots.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Molly. Careful now.
Sana, sana.
Reload him.
Yeah, you're flank. Not flank.
Enemy
Mosh
spotted.
pit. Oh yeah! Monster on the loose.
Reload him.
It's all you, little homie. Rash got him.
Okay.
One enemy
Up and
remaining.
away.
Huh?
Call out sick next time.
My
yeah?
goodness. Oh, I saw his ace. I saw his ace. Oh well.
I'm amped.
Oh, you
Let's
saw that
go.
last
I
week.
got things to do.
Oh my god, same wavelength. Rooting for anyone in particular, but I do like watching someone FNS course. He the change at IGL makes, right? Like a good IGL. Like the comeback was crazy. The Edge of 17. Oh, I've heard of that one. 16 Candles.
See you on the other side.
What's are you watching any more today?
Stim beacon here.
Second half sunset. Yeah, that was insane.
Molly.
Dizzy's up. Dizzy has targets. Wingman's planting.
Reloading.
Careful now. Launching smoke.
Spike planted. Thanks, Wings.
Target down. My
Okay, that's crazy.
Here. Blocking sight.
Come on, let's go.
Hoops.
Dead. Someone
One enemy remaining.
Reloading.
Flawless.
Okay. Alright.
say that. Tell me you call that.
I'll watch Pacific Lane, not sure who's playing at the moment. Yeah, oh, did you watch yesterday? DRX versus PRX? At this point, I feel like PRX is DRX's kryptonite.
Inside joke.
Like, DRX cannot beat them for the life of them. I feel like. Did you watch that game yesterday? IGL game last night before I woke up to silver. Let's go! Wait, you Mr. IGL? Let's go! All except the third.
Let's do what we do.
Oh, I had to. Oh yeah, you had to sleep as well. It was a great match. I think the second one was
spotted A.
probably the best.
Smoke's down.
Second map. Okay.
You did good.
Going up.
Duck.
That's the spike, Wings.
Just CT.
It's all you, Mosh. Spike. I got you. I got you.
Good flank.
Oh god.
Launching smoke.
Heaven! I want to rewatch the Before Sunrise trilogy. What's Before Sunrise?
One out.
I feel like I've not heard of that one.
2.
I know
Last player standing.
Down and out.
One enemy remaining.
Oh! Nice! Dude, our team's going off.
Please
I
do
don't
not mistake
coach
my
a sober.
smile.
Oh.
I take this all very seriously.
Wait, were they all really grateful for the win though? Were they all really happy with the win? That's so cute. The before summer, my favorite moment of all time. Oh really? Wait, when did they come out? Have I heard of them? When did they come out?
Who will I spot first? Stim beacon here.
Enemy spotted C.
Smoke's
Reloading.
down.
Okay. Oh my god.
Not ready.
Going up.
Oh god. What the fuck is
Spike
happening?
down. C. Last player standing.
Winnable? Maybe.
One enemy remaining.
Oh!
Clutch.
Oh my!
Did everyone see that?
Last round in the half.
We won that?
Spend it.
That's crazy. The others didn't say where they tried to forfeit and draw. Nah. Get that mentality out of here. Oh, yesterday we won a 2-3 surrender. We were losing 2-3 and they surrendered. Beb, how you doing? How you doing? Did you watch the K-Dot concert? I imagine you did. And go on my rank up. Yes, exactly. People have such weak mentals. I'm glad you didn't surrender.
Begins. Launching smoke. Oh. Smoke's down.
Okay.
Multiple enemies A.
Got him.
Shit.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Reloaded. Careful now.
Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. Thrash is ready. It's all you, little homie. They stopped her.
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Flash.
Nice
Careful
team!
now. Flash.
1995, 2004,
Switching
2006.
sides.
Wait, it's not that old. What was the time as the character's age?
Shoot the bad
Oh
guys.
wait, I like that. In Illustrious chat. Don't know who. You've seen each other here though. Nas, how you doing? How you doing? Cause I'm broke, but you can watch it on Twitter. You can watch the whole thing on Twitter. I saw the whole thing. I saw the whole 2 hours on Twitter. Always about champion. You're the second richest man, behind Jeff Bezos. Oh. No? Oh. Oh, Milan ask. I see, I see.
See.
Multiple enemies C. Multiple enemies C.
Blow him up, Mosh.
Enemy spotted C.
Rain is down. Careful now. Reload him.
That's my Libram.
Right there. I'm out. Up you go.
Last player
Okay.
standing.
This looks like this won't give me. Nah. Don't say that. Comebacks can still happen
Spike
here as
planted.
well. Comebacks happen here as well. I've seen it somewhere else. Oh, I can't help you. Why are you so formal?
All
Why
right,
did you say
homies, chill.
Wait, I
We'll
did.
go again.
Wait, I did
Damn,
say
you love
melon
being
funny.
here.
I said melon funny
Way
because
too
I was thinking of
much.
Elon, and so I said me. I said Melon. I was like Melon ask because I was thinking of Elon. I've lost a 10-0 lead on this map before. Did you get a haircut? No, I didn't. Does my hair look shorter? I definitely didn't, but does it look shorter?
Gotta be B.
11-1 game last week. That's true.
Adieu.
Oh!
Done here.
Okay.
Why not C?
Looks different on
Teleport
it does feel different. I don't know why.
Spike
Maybe
planted.
it's cleaner than usual, and so it's sitting in a different way because it feels
Excusez-moi.
Last player standing.
cleaner. Like it feels cleaner than normal.
Watch your eyes.
Wash your hair after teas. I know. It was a long time coming, but I did
Going
it.
up.
I finally washed it. You up to much today, Nas? Bloody raining and wet outside though.
Trust me, they will make mistakes. When they do,
My hands
take
are so
advantage.
cold. Still raining. Just watching the cricket. Oh, is it on? Wait, where are they playing? Not in Australia, right? Australia might lose? Who are you rooting for? I might lose 100. Oh my god, okay. You bet $100 on Australia? Cricket's boring? I agree. I could not sit there and watch cricket. I would fall asleep. Bored to tears. Corey, how you doing? How you doing? You alright? Staying warm? It's in the US? Wait, they play cricket in the US? Or am I just dumb?
Too long.
He could ulti.
Mosh
Enemy
pit.
A.
One enemy remaining.
Nice
That's
team!
right, you tell 'em.
That's me!
So,
Got back this
do we
one,
mix
so
it
I got
up?
my birthday
Double
gift.
down?
What
Let's
did you
talk.
get? What did you get? You get the quarter and they will give you lucky. Huh? Hosting the World Cup for some reason. That's weird considering I wouldn't associate the US with a cricket country. How interesting. I cannot afford. Ball, no ball, dot ball, run. Huh? Cricket team is Pakistani and Indian? No, like, of Pakistani and Indian ethnicity?
Mid.
They're defaulting.
Y'all you, Mosh.
See ya.
Nice team.
I know exactly where you are.
Oh!
Jack,
Spike planted.
lucky, bro.
140 Jet! I thought I got him! I didn't
One
him.
enemy remaining.
Oh my god, the Phantom Dink.
Oh,
Come on, let's go.
Oh my.
Push man. Push man. It's gonna be Cody.
Last player standing.
I didn't throw. I didn't throw. If you just saw that, I didn't throw.
Going up.
Half it.
All good.
They didn't throw
Oh,
either,
good.
but I didn't throw. I didn't throw. Is it weird to wear a headset over a hoodie?
Match point.
I don't think it's the weirdest thing,
They're
but
desperate.
now that I imagine it, I don't think I've ever seen people do that. I've seen people wear a hoodie, like they hood over the headset while they have the headset on, but I don't think I've ever seen people wear. But then to be fair, it's like wearing a headset over a beanie sometimes. I feel like that's the same vibe. Should have stuck it. He should have, but he got it in the end, so that's all that matters. Sleeves and sit out, and you've got mail tonight. Ooh, both classics. Both classics. I see the vibe you're
Enemy
on.
spotted A.
Do hoodie then
Oh
headset.
yeah! Monster
But you do
on the
headset
loose.
over the hoodie?
Blow him up, Mosh.
Reload him. Careful now.
Oh.
One more short.
I'm out.
Guys, hey.
Do better.
Going up.
Run, little man.
One enemy remaining.
My ult is ready.
Get him! Nice!
Defenders win.
This map is in comp. Yeah, it's back in comp as of I think last week. Oh no, earlier this week. It's back in comp. It's more comfortable. Is it because it softens the amount of pressure it puts on your ears? Like you have a barrier in between? Is that why? I only got 169 ACS. I thought I did much better than that. I thought I did heaps good. If it's cold enough, headset over hoodie or beanie. Yes, headset over a beanie I would do. I've done before because that keeps your ears warm. But sometimes I feel like the headset hurts your ears, doesn't it? GG's! GG's. When I used to wear headsets at the gym, I would wear over my hoodie. Doesn't it look like you've flattened your head? Like you really expose the shape of your head when you put a headset over a hoodie because it the headset pushes the hoodie against your face. 6 days to Abyss in comp. Dude, you don't even get the option of playing Abyss here. Like how the fuck do you practice this? It's so dumb. You can't even practice. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck, man? The Crocs light up and I've never been happier. How cool would it be if they lit up when it was in sports mode or something? That's when they lit up. Depression is a hoax by the government cause liquor stores clearly
Match
exist.
found.
Wait, alcohol is a depressant though. Alcohol makes you depressed. So have my ears, not my new ones. Yeah, I feel like if you wear headsets long enough, they will put pressure on your ears. And sometimes when you headset over over more material, it presses more on your ear, you know. You give us a week of practice, it's gonna be chaotic. Yeah, where the fuck else do you practice it now? You can't. I thought you were supposed to practice for 2 weeks and then it goes into the queue after 2 weeks, but they just removed it. On my foot at my house. You know if alcohol makes you depressed. To cope because it's more numbing. That is true, but generally speaking, alcohol is a depressant and caffeine is a what is it when it lifts you up? What's the word for it? What's the other word for what's the opposite of depressant? No, there's a word for that's that is talking about coffee. Stimulant? Is it stimulant? Is it stimulant? Maybe it is stimulant. No, I can't remember. I really want to know. It is stimulant? Okay. Yeah, so they're opposites. I hate wearing a headset with earrings, it's annoying. You wear a headset with earrings? Actually, I wear a headset with earrings. I have little hoops. But I guess if you wear a headset with dangly earrings, they will push against they'll push against you, so I guess it will hurt down here maybe. But if you have studs or little hoops, then I feel like it's okay.
But do not expect any favors.
Of course, I only wish to help a friend.
Because it's
Nothing
dang. Okay, yeah, dangly earrings, yeah. we're doing customs. Imagine doing customs. Imagine practicing on customs. Couldn't be me. Slows your brain out, so that's why you slow your words. Oh.
Here.
I see, I see. Have earrings while you're in your home? I never take my earrings off. I always just have my earrings, like they just, I shower with them on, I sleep with them on, like I never take my earrings on. Yeah, you just leave them on 24/7. Mostly just walk around. Yeah, walk around and remember everything, but it's not the same as when you play against people because you don't know where people are gonna like
Bring them down.
hang and shit like that.
Rotating.
You know?
Reloading.
Reloading.
Like you don't know where they're gonna play. The earrings on is so irritating for me. How come? Oh god.
Trap destroyed. Here.
Okay.
Spike down.
Oh,
Mid.
why is it irritating for you?
Last player
Wait,
standing.
that probably means that you have like a
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
Clutch.
Nice. That probably means you have like
It's because I am.
like a bit of an allergic reaction
Damn!
maybe?
Even I couldn't keep up.
Probably played Breach on there. Pretty ratty map, very ratty map. So ratty. I dangles I couldn't wear a headset with them and I slip them or just take them off. Yeah. If you had dangling ones then yeah. I think the most you can get away with is like a little like 1 centimeter hoop. Oh, we don't have smokes?
Bonne chance, mes amis.
We have no smokes? Oh my. Oh. Oh nice.
Bring them down. Where are you? Marked one. No charges. Get back. Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god. Daddy Shark, go off.
Hold it.
Where's the Vandal at? Where's the Vandal at?
I do
Okay.
like winning.
Not allergic to gold even if I'm not taking it into account
Reloading.
because it's gold. Okay, yeah, fair. Gold you shouldn't, yeah, generally aren't allergic to. Go away with stuff, but you have to tuck them. Wait, wait, what do you mean you have to tuck them in? Wait, do you tuck your like earlobe in? Like, huh? How do you tuck a stud into your headset?
Reloading.
Chat? Oh, it's Emmy! I'm just allergic to the price of gold. Yeah, I wish I could
Enemy
afford the
spotted.
price of
Find
gold.
you.
Enemy mid.
Help.
Wait, Daddy Shark! Daddy Shark! Go off, Daddy!
Cutting their vision.
Blinding.
You do that, I'm gonna go plant.
Bring them down.
One enemy remaining.
Ace?
Spike planted. Weapon here.
Oh! Emmy, how do you know Emmy Willy? I've glitch hop all over my shop cop one.
This isn't a fight.
Dude, glitch hop is a
nerd.
classic. We were just talking about it yesterday. Like glitch hop is a classic, like a classic skin that you can't go wrong with.
Reloading.
It was two. I wanted to buy a slab of gold, like a tiny one. It was $2 grand. Wait, how big was a slab of gold? I've seen that like
Reloading.
gold, like I don't know, the size of like this
Reloading.
is like 10 grand. Like it's so
I
expensive,
take what I want.
but it goes like the value goes up.
I got
Spike
the
drop.
spike.
How much does it? Yeah. You can go ahead. That is all good.
Concussing.
I'll find you. Marked one.
Okay.
Spike down B.
It's like 0.5. What the fuck is 0.5 Oz?
Last player standing.
I have the spike.
Oh! The fuck is 0.5 Oz? My head's on, they sit flat on my
Okay,
earlobe.
which gun to
Oh,
pick
so you
this
have
time?
on-ear headsets, not over-ear headsets. You have like the ones that sit on your ears. So, yeah, I reckon you need an over-ear headset. So that it covers like your whole ear, so it doesn't actually like sit on the earlobe. Gaming? No, I'm actually eating dinner right now. I'm not gaming.
Bring them down.
Glitchpot Judd?
They're blind with fear.
Wait, Glitchpot Judd? I feel like I've never seen that.
Where are you?
Tree!
Spike down A.
See what it looks like? Okay, okay. Wait, you bought it?
Last player standing.
The rush.
Puppy, how you doing? How you doing? You alright?
See nothing.
I don't
One
think
enemy
she's
remaining.
having it. Emmy once rated me and she's like the sweetest.
Wind, show me where to go.
They are
How?
so dead.
How? Okay, so does silver rise in value though? Does that go up? I have the 3D pulse and the G10. I'm pretty sure it's in E. Oh, it's in E. Go ahead and link it, Corey. Go ahead. I don't mind.
I'm gunning for chamber.
That's good. What's for lunch? What's for lunch? Anyone like it, right? Like packing 3 packs of something in a big moisturizer. I think it has to be under 100 mils.
Find you.
Enemy spotted B.
We'll catch them.
Flash out.
Bring them down.
Enemy spotted B.
Spike planted. My ult is ready.
I think it has to be under 100 mils. Generally for like what I know when I travel airports.
Enemy spotted B. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Oh!
Don't worry. Your
Wait,
life
I
won't
feel like
got
I played
worse.
against Daddy Shark before now that I think about it. I feel like I played
Stay
against
alive.
him.
I want their life, not yours.
It's like having a slab of metal. It is. Like having just like holding that and having that in a box is a pretty big flex. What do you mean getting sass? Are you playing after? Are you playing? You asked if I was gaming and I wasn't sure if it was obvious that I wasn't, so I just wanted to make sure that you could see that I was eating. Dude, Rain is actually crazy.
Watch this. Bring them down. Where are you? Reloading.
Concussing.
Are we ulting?
Blinding.
Spike drop. Take them. Mark will bring them down.
Oh, market!
Spike down B.
Flash out.
One enemy remaining.
Wait, let me hold on. I need to...
Blasting.
Wait, how much is 0.5 Oz in
You? Outrun me?
Oh my god, our Raider's on 1 death?
As much as this world hurt me,
Our Raider's on
it's
1
mine,
death?
and I will kill.
How much is that in grams?
Need
a drop.
What did he say? Okay. That's going off as well.
Keep up.
1 kilo chef. Okay, okay. 1 kilo silver is 1.5k.
You want to play?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, okay.
play.
I wasn't sure if I heard it. Actually, children in this game.
Find you.
Actual children.
Spike is down.
Spike down B.
I have the spike. Enemy defender spawn.
Hold.
Enemy mid. Spike dropped.
Okay.
I have the spike. Hi! I'm pissed!
Last player standing.
Spike planted.
Okay. I had no shot. It's 15 grams. 15 grams for 1.5k. Because that's how annoying that is with the headset. I have to look at the earring.
Their teeth will chatter in the cold and dark.
Oh, that is a very cool earring. And I could also see why you have to take that off. Take that off for with wearing a headset. It's younger and younger. Every day the younger. This game is just like so like people are just so dumb. Like it just annoys me about people.
Bring them down.
Oh, thanks for the gun,
Enemy
man.
spotted B. Blinding. Concussing.
I love the show. Oh, I like that. Like it's got
Spike
sentimental
down, mid.
value.
Enemy
have
in
this
defender
spike.
spawn.
Right there. Pathetic.
Where are you?
One enemy remaining.
Last one there. Oh, they're just going. Okay.
Last player standing.
Heavy for. Wait, it's heavy as an earring? This is 1.8. That's crazy. 1.8. How much does it rise in value? Like, how quickly does it rise in value, and how much does it rise in value by? You know? Like, I'm curious to know. Wait for 8 months for it to
They
be
don't have a
restocked?
single life
Damn.
worth
Do
saving.
you still wear it now and you just
I
take it
need
off
a
when you
drop.
game?
Reloading.
Then we've never give up without a fight. Ooh, I like that. 100 mils per pack or 100 mils per item. Per item. So even if you're so say you have a moisturizer that's 150 mils, but you know you've used half of it and it's only 75 mils, still can't take it. The total, like the total container has to be under 100 mils.
I'll find you.
If that makes sense.
Nowhere to run. Spike.
I planted.
Reloading.
760 mils. Yeah. Over 24/7 now. Got used to the
Enemy
weight.
spotted A.
Nice.
Reloading.
Clearing out.
One enemy remaining.
Blocking sight.
Reloading.
Nice.
Looks like I was the stronger one.
Sounds like airport rules. Yeah. I feel like yeah. So that's what Beth asked about airport rules, and I'm pretty sure it's not fully universal. So you have to check with the airport you go to and read like what they say at the airport. But generally speaking, it's 100 mils per item. So you can carry like So I would carry like a whole makeup case which had like a lot of liquids, and it'd be like total 100. Wait, are you going to India soon? When do you get over? Oh, you start soon.
Where are
start, soon.
Enemy spotted B.
Mark 1. My ult is ready.
Not your best.
Nightmare, take them!
Blasting!
I think I was a bit premature with the Ultimuni.
Take hold.
Right there.
Bring them down.
Nice shot.
One enemy remaining.
Bring them down.
Fun.
They're blinded.
I knew your every
Woohoo! Give me a gun skin. No.
Last round before the switch.
Reloading.
Oh my god, I was
Spend it all
picking up
before it's gone.
all of the wrong skins.
So dead.
Oh my
Reloading.
god. Just using camera to so I tried to move it over a little bit, but like it's between my two screens, and I need to make it so I'm not like I'm not on this side of the camera. I'm trying to center it, but I can't get it centered.
I got the spike.
You know what I mean? Like I can't seem to get it centered.
I have the spike. I'll find you.
Cussing. Clearing out.
Marked 1.
Bring them down.
Okay,
Last
Mango
player
Saga.
standing. Spike down A.
Week after next week. Oh, very soon. Are you excited? Yeah, really. I need to figure out my camera angle. Like I hover
Switching
towards this
sides.
side of the screen, and I don't know how to get it
I'm the
centered.
last
Like, I
thing
don't
they'll
know
see
how to
before they
Reloading.
die.
without my
Lucky
other
them.
screen like being in the angle. You know? Oh, I got 20 RR in the last game. I did pretty good in the last game. This game, I'm getting carried hard. I'm getting carried hard. I don't know how to fix it. It's just gonna. This is just how it's gonna be. What are you gonna apply for the rest of the night, Willie? I need specific sunscreen, else I have breakouts. That's a lot of people though. A lot of people are the
I'm
same
gunning for
situation. Like
chamber.
people who have sensitive skin are in the same situation as you.
Enemies B.
Where are you?
Spike planted.
He put it right when I was going there. Nice. Move the chance of the camera. But then like if I like my screen, like if I want to sit centered on my screen, like this is where I need to sit to be centered.
Dead.
Like this is where I have to be if I want to be like, you know, this is my crosshair, this is where I need to
One
be.
enemy remaining.
Don't rush
Wait,
me.
they just did a 2v5. What is this team? It's
You really expect
2v5.
us to work.
Hey Val, I'm grinding battle pass, just hit level 44. Oh, you have
Reloading.
3 days left?
Deep
Right,
breaths,
3 days?
everyone. Your hearts are
Need to use
pounding.
it 13 more times. Keep forgetting to use my ult. You have to use your ult 13 times? Oh my god. Just what do you call it? Are you just playing Swifties? Like I don't mean suitcase, not handcarry, so it didn't matter in suitcase. Yeah. In suitcase it doesn't matter. I'm also talking.
Hey.
I'm also talking about hand luggage as well. Yeah, like your carry-on luggage. 3 more days.
I got it. Flash out.
I'll find you.
Spike down
Spikes
A.
We'll catch them.
Reloading.
One
Bring them
enemy
down.
remaining.
Reloading.
Bring them down.
Woohoo!
Reloading.
We doing this or what?
This is a crazy game. I can't believe I'm in this game. You need to worry about millies. No. If it goes checked in,
Reloading.
you can put as much as you want. You can put a bloody 1 liter bottle of water in there if you want. But if you want to carry it on the plane,
Reloading.
then it has to be under 100 mils to be on the plane. So 2.5 hour flight, I won't need anything on the plane but my laptop. Yeah, there you go. Then yeah, you don't even have to worry about it. 2.5 hours is like nothing. It's easy.
Spike planted.
Where are you?
Enemy spotted.
Mark one.
Blinding.
Last player standing.
Night.
Oh no! Yeah, I don't think you'll need to carry your sunscreen and skincare on a
Dreams are a
2.5
funny
hour
thing.
flight, I feel like.
One
I
little
think you'll be fine
twist,
for that.
and it all turns dark.
We boyin'. Did you make sure that you'll be able to get the sunscreen in India as well? Like, you need to be able to make sure you can buy that there. Okay.
Take hold. Blocking sight. Multiple. Reloading.
Bring them down.
There. Where are you? Marked
Spike
one.
planted. One enemy remaining.
Bring them down. Hi.
Okay. Nice. I am. Do you mean take a
button.
photo, Lenny? I
Save
won't
the
need
day.
to. Yeah, you won't need anything. You'll be fine. Avocado cereal.
Match point.
Need a drop.
Like, I love avocado, but
Reloading.
but I do not like avocado in smoothies. I don't like avocados like in cereal, you know. So headphones, laptop. I mean, I'd probably just sleep for 2.5 hours. Get 3 packs of 3 packs would last me for like 8 months. I will either go to the dock or find it. 3 packs. I feel like that's enough, surely. And you can always ask people, your parents or someone to send it over if you need, right?
Reloading. I'll find you.
Marked one.
Last player standing.
Bam.
One enemy remaining.
Still waiting.
Spike planted.
Mare, take them.
Okay. That's so dumb.
Time to take these arms
Sunscreen in
for
the
a
car with
spin.
5% windshield tint and 20% everywhere else. To be fair, if you leave the house, you should technically wear sunscreen. You leave the house, you wear sunscreen. You know? Can we half buy that? Yeah, half buy. Just need my door's PO. Yes. Which should be fine then. Like, once you get all your like address info, then yeah.
Where are they?
So good. Are you playing after, Leo? Are you playing after?
You want to play? Let's play.
Where are you?
Multiple enemies B. Blocking
Mark
sight.
4.
Oh!
Spike
Okay, got one.
B.
I got one.
Reloading.
Stop selling me cocker. Oh my
planted.
goodness. You need sunscreen. I put on whenever I stay outside. Like realistically, if you leave the house, you should wear sunscreen.
Last player standing.
But I know that that's not the case for a lot of people. And as long as look, wearing sunscreen is a step on its own. So the fact that you wear sunscreen is already like you're doing more than a
They're
lot of
just
people. I feel like.
batteries. And I need a recharge.
You know? That's already doing more.
Reloading.
We age like milk. Not all. Have you seen the girl from Bridgerton, Nicola Coughlan, who's 34 years old? I mean 37 years old, but she looks like she could be in her mid-20s. Down for one or two? Just one or two?
Hey man.
We'll catch them. Reloading.
My return.
Where are you?
Spike planted.
Bring them down.
One enemy remaining.
Jen? Oh, nice! Woohoo!
Here.
Cutting their vision.
Teleport's ready.
Just get anti-aging.
Defenders
cream? That's retinol. The iPhone is almost hooked up, I bet you're so proud. I am so proud. Yay! iPhone gang! Cheese is milk. Early stream? Yes! Early stream. Dude, my Reina went off the charts. That's crazy. Hello, honey. How you doing? How you doing? Do you use my old again? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? You need to use it 11 times. Does age well? Are you talking about blue cheese? Blue cheese age as well? Dude, I need to check the stats on Daddy Shark. Is it Daddy Shark? That's crazy. I'm on the skincare now. It's famous. Yay! Corey's on the skincare, Beth's on the skincare. Look, I'm just happy if you wear sunscreen. I feel like that's already hard enough for a lot of people. Wait, I'm checking the stats for Daddy Shark. Plat 3, my ass. Oh, okay, it's a private profile. That is a smooth. When are you gonna hit diamond? You've been hard stuck for so long. I know. Hey, I can still bully you because you're silver. I can bully you because you're silver. Like, I can do it. Because I'm already higher rank, you know? Howdy. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
That's good.
That's good.
How's your morning?
Bit tired.
Why? What time do you wake up? What time do you sleep?
Not that late, but woke up really early for a run.
Ew. Why would who does that? Who the fuck who wakes up early for a run?
It was a marathon training group run.
Ugh.
We did 30 Ks.
You did 30 Ks!
I feel like I need a nap, and I haven't eaten. I need to get some food. So I got 1 and 2.
Wait, why haven't you eaten?
We just had coffees, and then
Hello?
Hello?
Did you just cut off?
Sorry, my game froze.
Oh.
I think my game froze.
Wait, you invested in Valorant Coach? Yeah. I used to, I didn't use it. I watched
you
Valorant
ready to
Coaches
lose?
before. I used Valorant Coaches before. I watched Valorant Coaches.
Hello?
Absolutely not. What the fuck? Cheers! It's coffee.
Oh my god, it's your rank up game.
Okay. Wow.
Oh no. You've
This
chosen
is my
the
game
wrong
before with the
duo.
Reina. She was crazy.
29 and 9.
Mhm.
God.
I think if I ever got a sponsorship, I'd firstly want a sponsorship with Woodies, because that would be very fun. I would live in them more than I already do. This is so early, is it? Everything I know is self-taught. Dude, when I first started playing Valor, I fucking took notes. I was like, which agent do I want to play? Oh. And I was like, do I want to do smokes? Is this agent fun? Like, yeah. Yeah, a Pit Viper sponsor. What's a Pit Viper? Just a few minutes ago. Wait, what time is it, Phyllis? Their glasses. What's Pit Viper? Wait, so what are you gonna eat?
Match found.
Good chat, let's do it again. What the heck? Hello? You gonna get food? So less yet so much. So sharp. It's 11:40. Wait, oh, it's 11:46. But you had a sleep in. What time did you sleep yesterday? Yeah, he literally went to eat. Oh, what the fuck, man? Pit Viper. Okay, let me look it up. You want the Oakley
Sunset.
aura. Am I right? You want the Oakley aura. That's why you want the Pit Vipers. Is that Oakley's? I didn't look at the brand. Or is Pit Viper the brand? Did Naruto? No, I haven't. But I know that they do partnerships with like every single like company. Slept at 2. Wait, why'd you sleep at 2? What'd you do? Are you playing your games? Don't compare them to Oakley. Why, are they better or worse? Did you go and eat? You just left me hanging?
I went to
You
turn my
what?
dryer on. I went to turn my dryer on.
Oh.
Doing
Fair
catch
enough.
up. What'd you say?
Away. My crew is
Why haven't
coming
you
through.
eaten yet?
I don't know, I wasn't hungry. Now I'm really hungry.
Oh my. What's for lunch?
So, I have chicken
Yeah?
and some beans and
Yeah.
some rice.
Nice.
But they're all raw, so I need to make something.
Like raw rice?
Yeah, raw rice.
Fair enough. Why didn't you put that on while you were AFK?
I forgot.
Okay.
Get back.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Pistol.
Pit Viper's their own brand. Oh, heck of ISO Radiant. Damn, you ranked back up to Radiant? Already? Wait, how about the nerfs though? I still play ISO with the nerfs? You buy another pair. I already have to. Wait, how much are they? On the
So,
on
who has to die?
scale of like Oakley to 0 to Oakley, how much are they?
I need a gun.
They just eat it raw. You're right. He should just eat it raw. Save time. Everyone says you should just eat it raw.
I should what?
Just eat everything raw.
The rice too?
Yeah. It's like cereal, you know? Crunchy.
Never
Except it
tried
never
that, but
loses the crunch.
Honestly, I might do that today.
Yeah.
Put it in with some milk.
Yeah. Just spoon it straight to your mouth.
What do you mean? Yeah.
It's a perfectly normal thing to do. 200 followers. Oh, actually, 200 is not bad because Oakleys are like what? Between 300 to 400?
Oh,
Wait, who died in the middle? Oh, ISO.
I saw it.
Careful now.
Oh. One hit my trip.
Who are you playing? Oh, you're playing Cypher.
Dizzy's up.
Tag 60 on them. Just fine. Just the A.
You did good.
Reloading.
Oh, she backed up into me.
Spike planted.
Oh, nice.
Reloading.
Last player standing.
The nutsack was on this site the whole time, and he's still alive on this site.
Stay down.
While everyone else who had to rotate has died. He needs to die. Okay. Well, saving time was just trying to give it a stomach vibes.
They're like, why can't we just hug it out?
What the
Ancient
heck?
Radianite.
Okay there, calm down, Willie, calm down. Oh, hit the rain up for 26. Okay, what do we do?
I believe it. B. Is it B?
Are you sure?
It's in. It's in.
Did you watch the games this morning?
It's A. It's A. It's A.
Ah! Oh my. Wait, I've never seen this Oni frenzy before. Wait, I've never seen this before.
Last player standing.
Okay, Reyna. I'm just hoping this Reyna is not the same Reyna that was in my team before.
Look your enemy in the eye.
Daddy Shark.
Daddy Shark? I don't know if they're... I don't think they're... Actually, no, their name wasn't hidden. Because if it's hidden for your own team as well, right? Right?
Reloading.
Hello? If a name is hidden... If a name is in streamer mode, is it also hidden for your own team? Does anyone know?
Gotcha. Not enough.
Nice.
One more main.
One enemy remaining.
Last one unknown.
Flawless.
Nice.
Channel so you can type in any and full team. Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to remember if Daddy Shark was hidden or not for me.
Worry.
I mean, it wasn't hidden
House
for me,
always
but
wins.
like, I wonder if it was hidden for them then. Who said something about Slammer?
Slammer?
Yeah,
What's that?
like jail? Slammer?
Who? Me?
One of the characters.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Okay.
Welcome to the Slammer.
Is that what they said?
I don't know. Hey.
You mean B?
Oh, B, sorry.
Oh my lord! Omen mid.
Someone is B. 3 out of 5.
One enemy remaining. Ace.
Oh!
Oh my god.
What the? What the fuck?
He said,
What the
what
fuck?
Mindful of their chamber.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
Didn't
You
realize
stole
I had that
Raiders.
in me.
Yeah!
I'm
I was
never
just saying, you stole Raina's kills, and Raina's like, I'm never gonna get a kill playing Sly with you.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I will find them.
Mosh pit.
They're here.
Water rising.
Try again. My ult is ready.
Enemy spotted me.
Enemy spotted.
Dizzy's up top.
One enemy remaining.
Opping mid.
Spike
Opping
down A.
Back to me.
Get them.
Good thing ISO has a shield.
Yeah, go get him, I said.
Right there.
Okay.
Nice.
I let him have a shot at. Is it was
Want
his
more?
ace?
Sorry, buddy, it's over.
Was it?
I can't see them yet.
Think
I
so?
can feel them.
Yeah, I let him have a shot. I didn't run for it like my natural instincts tell me to do. You know, when it's 4Ks.
You gotta give the ace.
If it was yours though,
You would steal it?
you bet I'd be running forward for it.
That's messed up.
No regrets.
Let's see how it
That's what
goes.
you-
Ultimate ready.
Holy crap!
God, our team's insane.
I know. Wait, why did everyone leave A?
Don't know.
Show me a target. Target mid.
Wait, I want some of that too.
Reloading. Wave crashing.
Up and away.
No distraction.
Oh my god, we ulted?
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
78! Tiles.
Oh, we double ulted?
Yeah, that's the confidence our team has, you know.
As far as
That's the
you know,
confidence.
not bad.
They're like, hey, haven't you heard all those coaches say, you ult to win the round?
Then commit.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys play D? I'm gonna put trips with playoff. I feel like just play off my trips. Maybe you play B, Joe. You want
Okay.
3 kills? I'll go 3
Well,
kills.
I'm on the same side as Reyna.
Nah, I'm gonna play off. I'm not gonna be on B. You play B, but with my trips and stuff.
Okay.
Should be 3 kills. You should play here.
You want to play? Let's play.
The hunt begins. You powerless.
Don't worry, I've caged once. You can see it's a one way. It's a one way. Trip is still up.
Oh, it went down.
Cage again.
The cage went down. 70 on the KO 70.
Spike down B.
Someone is B. Focus.
Spike planted.
They found my
Oh,
Neutralized.
One enemy remaining.
main.
Upping main.
Okay.
I'm not picking because he has shield.
The cage went down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got it.
I know,
Okay,
you need
I
to
timed
do
it
better.
wrong. Timed it wrong. I was trying to keep it up.
No, it was
Blink
good.
and
I
then
actually saw the toes.
Stay alert.
Yeah,
They look delicious.
I learned that from some guy in rank.
Oh,
He was
nice.
like, quick, come here. I'll show you a one way. Okay.
I've had those conversations too when they see my
It's like-
lineups.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, man.
Just tell the people that's what I do. I aim to please.
My intel.
I aim to
is
please.
their obstacle.
Who loves toes? You can't spell toes without an O, and you can't spell Joe without an O. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Are you watching short, Joe?
I am now.
Confirmed. Right there.
Yes, I am.
Someone is A.
Saw you, little
Oh, homie. Okay, that's bullying.
Up for more?
Okay.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Wait, my team.
All targets clear.
I guess we're raking up today.
Hey, don't say that! What the fuck, man?
Can someone buy
You gotta
me?
be confident, Joe.
Appreciate it.
No. Wait, who bought me?
Reina?
Oh. Oh, well, close enough. You
That
heard
sounds
me,
hella
Slava,
funny,
you
though.
heard me. You don't smell toast without a nose either?
That's a ritual.
You're right. My nose is in disrepair. I had to take a fucking Zyrtec today because I was so congested.
Get out of my way!
Dude, our team's like fucking sending it.
Nothing big.
Multiple targets
Let's
mid.
go! Somebody's there.
Oh, I helped the harbour get out.
W help.
Bro, dude, I have allergies for days. You can't spell allergies without an A, and you can't spell Joanna without an A as well, you know what I'm saying?
My ult's ready. Ultimate
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
I'm out.
Okay.
Nice,
Woohoo! Let's go! Wait, can you hear the construction happening in the background of my thingy?
Y'all need a gun? I'll spot you.
They might do the same thing with KO.
I need this. My friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Need a drop.
Joe's giving away free money. Take it out.
No, you buy now. You buy.
But
Yeah, for the Reyna. Yeah.
West,
Evening out
keep your
money,
guard
you
up.
know? Venn diagram, you
trickle
know?
down
Wait,
economics.
what? So from renovation. Yes, it's better now. We're on the ending
Have a
part
fun.
of like
Players
renovations
don't
are almost done. Renovations are almost done. I think we got like one more week left, thank God.
Well, that is not good. Tell you.
Next, my ult is ready.
Two more. I have nose. Okay, good. What night? I'll see you around. Oh yeah, you're leaving? Take care.
My eyes are
Down. Cage triggered.
Spike planted. Last
Oh!
player standing.
NT.
Wow.
The crouch. Oh my god, you know what will make you feel better after running 30 kilometers? Because firstly, who does that voluntarily?
Checking corners.
Macca's, but that maybe that too.
Wait, Macca's?
Yeah.
What'd you say? My game froze and I couldn't see the game.
I find them. I kill them.
See, but I will get some pit vipers. Let me know which one you get. I'm curious. Evan, how you doing? Bananas. Whenever anyone says bananas, it reminds me of minions. Banana. I was saying, you know what will make you feel better after running 30 kilometers voluntarily?
Oh.
You're not curious? I am curious. My brother has a pair of Oakleys. And look,
That
I'm
would
not
make
sure
you
if I
feel
feel
better,
how
actually.
much I feel about them, you know? But it's the trend now. I hear them. I'm
I
powerless.
had my trips up. I had my trips up.
No distractions.
They found
Okay, let's see the ISO. Oh!
Spike down A. Spike planted.
And it's safe.
I have no idea where it's landed. I can't see the other. Oh wait, you're dead. Oh, up down.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god.
Shield.
Nice team.
Nice.
Play Elden Ring, bruh. The amount of people that have told me to play Elden Ring, I think I would send people off the face of the earth with how bad I would be in Elden Ring. Oh, really?
Last round in the half.
This is it. Get those guns.
The huge face masks ones are dope. Like they're a lot. They're very in your face, you know. Like they're like in your face. Those types of ones. Can you still off them? And they're actually in the car, so they stay in the car, so I never see them outside of the car. But they are the Oakleys that I think most people have. Like the standard Oakleys. Oh!
Spike down B.
Whoa! Wait, how do I get them now?
Making contact.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Spike down B.
I got Ray-Ban Zero Classic. That's true. Ray-Ban Wayfarers or Ray-Ban Aviators? Is your game frozen?
Yeah.
Oh.
Camera taken out. They found my wire.
Oh! Wait, what the fuck? Actually
Why are you shooting
frozen?
my trips?
one
called
like
the-
that?
sides.
The fake camera technique.
That's actually fucking crazy. What the fuck?
How much we travel.
Need one for home though? A work car, one my weekend. You have a work car and a weekend car, and you need one for like everyday leisure? Why don't you just put it in your bag? Why don't you just put it in your bag?
Selfie.
Okay. When was the last time you took a selfie?
Saturday.
Oh. Easy. Easy.
When's the last time you took a selfie?
I don't even recall.
Dizzy's up top.
No way.
Oh, I sent my baby off the map.
Alvida. Walls up.
Did you have a gun? No.
Disappear.
Oh, he had a gun.
Got one.
Why aren't you letting me plant?
Spike planted.
Wait, where did I get shot? Oh, he was on the other side of the fucking wall, the harbor wall. That's so dumb.
Focusing. Breaking them.
One enemy remaining.
It gets scratched in the bag. Don't you have a case for it? You
Last
don't have a
player
case for it?
standing.
Well, fine. Thursday? I actually don't remember when I last took a selfie.
Forgive me if I overextend.
Now I'm trying to check when I last took a selfie. Let me take a photo. Look at my photos. I don't really take selfies. I just ask other people to take photos for me, I realize. The last time I took a selfie was probably
Dream big, make it happen.
overseas. Top Field
Right
was so
there.
sad. Can you get it replaced and fixed?
Oh, get that.
Too slow.
One more.
Stand aside.
Has a stinger.
104!
Blocking fire.
Spike planet. Cutting their vision.
Wave crashing. Reloading.
Last player standing.
Okay, thanks, Nas.
One enemy
Oh!
remaining.
Wait, they walked into his
They're
his
nothing.
crosshair.
Reina, jeez.
Also, give me
Leave
the
some
bloody
for the rest
spike.
of us. Or
Wait, do we
don't.
bonus or buy?
What do you
I'm
need?
sorry.
Bonus?
I need a gun. Thank you.
Oh, we buy.
Show them how we fight.
Hello? Are you back? You making rice?
Still in sight.
My ult is ready.
Dizzy's up.
Show me a target.
Still
No
inside.
distraction.
Wingman's planting.
Enemy spotted B.
Oh my
And
god.
you're
Are
done.
you back?
I'm back. Oh my god.
Spike sticking. Sana, sana.
One enemy
I got
remaining.
you.
Wait.
Oh,
You're
mark
gonna
it, mark it. Nice. Wait,
I'm
we
back.
don't
I
even
got a
need you.
gun.
We
I
don't
got a
even
free
need
gun.
you.
I got a free gun.
What the fuck?
Match point.
What the fuck?
That's so much money. Would you like a buy?
This is it.
Sure, why
Can someone
not?
buy me, please? Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, Vandal.
Have a game you can play? What game? Did you say Vandal?
Vandal? Yeah.
Vandal on attack, you know?
Oh yeah.
Phantom on defense. Simulator half.
Phantom on defense, Vandal on
What the heck is drug deal? Simulator half?
We
I got
will
eyes here.
reveal their secrets.
Cutting vision.
Oh, one
I
and
think we
two.
Let's go, bro. Get him.
Enemy spotted.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Up and away.
Oh, one's on the right.
Not enough.
Plant the spike, Wings.
Got this.
One enemy
Gotcha.
remaining.
Spike planted. Thanks, Wings. Rash is ready.
Oh my god, rank up!
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Oh my god, she's flanking! I shouldn't have run like a
Show me a
maniac.
stopping fire. Flooding them.
Imagine we lose this and they get
Breaking down 12.
Why would you say that? Do you
Could
not
you
want
imagine?
lunch?
Last player standing.
Oh my. Oh my
Okay.
god.
Okay. Alright then. That deserves a timeout.
Clutch.
What
Oh
the
my god,
fuck?
imagine we go overtime now.
What the fuck?
Could you imagine?
That's what happened with
They're usually
NRG
distracted
vs
once I
Sen,
reveal
no?
them. Make sure you take
Oh,
advantage.
I saw the score at the end. Poor song.
They were like so close. They almost came back.
I'm a huge fan of Song.
Viral gaming.
He's such a sweet kid.
So you're saying you like strippers?
Huh?
So you're saying you like strippers?
Embarrass them.
Yes.
I thought so. I did put slash. You did
You
put
want to
slash.
play? Let's play.
Go get him.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
get him because
Okay.
he left.
Dizzy's up top. Someone's there.
We are screwed.
Wait, the others are coming through mid. We can actually.
You got a flash? You got a flash?
No, I used already.
One on the elbow area.
Peace.
One elbow, one elbow.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god, right there.
Attackers
Sing
win.
next time. Yeah.
Yay! I didn't even do that shit as well. Thank goodness.
When do you ever do shit?
Many a times, in fact. Almost every
You're a
game I am in.
initiator.
You're
Oh
right,
my
you're
God.
right. Diamond! This is the first time I've hit diamond this whole season.
That's not true.
Yeah, it
Is it?
is. This whole act.
No.
Yeah.
You were diamond like a couple of weeks ago.
No,
Or
it
1 week
wasn't.
ago.
No, I was
Before
one
you
game
went on-
away. I was one game away.
Really? I thought you were diamond already. And then you had that lost streak and then you went to plat 3.
I don't think did I? Oh, I did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Apparently, I did hit diamond. I don't recall. Right, go eat lunch. I cannot be a good person and not let you not have lunch after running 30 kilometers voluntarily.
Actually, what during the middle of that game, I made myself a snack.
What'd you make?
I made an avocado on garlic sourdough.
Yeah.
Garlic and olive sourdough. I just gotta go to the kitchen, I'll eat it. Heal it up, I'll be ready.
Okay. Okay. Sadie CLR. Remarkable racing car 3 is that same performance as
You're back.
Okay. Do you see Bugatti's new car? No, I didn't. Let me have a look. Think it's a deal breaker for me, otherwise I would have bought it. Wait, let me look at these new cars. Hold on a sec. Bugatti. New car. Ooh. Wait, it looks like a racing car. Has the wildest steering wheel ever. Oh, it's a lamb. It's a car that has the wings. It's a car that has wings.
Match found.
Where's the steering? Wait.
Perfect timing.
Oh, nice. Wait, why is the steering wheel like this? Wait, how does the steering wheel work? How does this? How the fuck does this? How does this? How does that work? Oh, it's the same ISO again.
We meet again. Yes, we do.
Wait, now look at the Porsche steering wheel. Hold on. Porsche.
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, people used to call me that.
What does it mean?
What do you mean? It's from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
Everyone.
Didn't know
is
you were
afraid
Powerpuff
of
Girl.
something.
Yeah, from Mojo Jojo. Alright, let me have a look. Yeah. Oh, it's connected at the back. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like the illusion is not something that I like. I'm not sure how I feel. That should exist from an engineering point of view. What's the problem that it's solving? I find it odd but satisfying. I find it is I don't know if unsatisfying is the right word, but it just like uneasy, makes me feel uneasy. Like, because everything in the middle stays the same, and then everything on the outside is like, it moves because it's connected to like the base. How's your avocado?
So good.
We're considering buying an avocado tree because of the amount of avocados we consume as well. But I know that it takes years to grow.
Mm-hmm. Like 22.
The tachometer already on the wheel doesn't block that. Are you talking about the speedometer? I know no pass but the
Doesn't it take
speedometer.
like 20 years to grow?
Over there.
Bring them down.
Smoke's down.
Reloading.
I bit someone, but like they pushed out. They one-wayed this, the nerds.
Scanning ahead.
There they are. Reloading.
It's our one way now.
Who are you playing? Oh, Soba.
One enemy remaining.
Soba.
Soba? Oh my god, do you like Soba?
As in, is he attractive? Yeah.
No, like the noodle Soba.
Oh, yeah,
Every
that's, too,
fight
that's
is a
pretty
lesson.
attractive.
Sorry, I have like many conversations happening in my head, and then I assume everyone's on the same wavelength when I ask everything. What is a tachometer? That
I buy it.
Safety's off.
Keeps
What?
me on my toes.
Stim beacon down.
Bring them down.
We're stuck.
a bit. Oh. Wait, we can walk past it.
We found one.
Reloading.
I'll find you.
Standing ahead.
Mark one. Take hold.
Spike plant.
Oh, there's a
Weapon
Sharif
here.
there.
Launching smoke.
Enemy spotted A.
Hush.
What's happening?
Try again.
I don't know. Oh.
Joe!
I don't know. I want my P1s. 78 on the jet.
One enemy remaining.
Watch this wide swing.
Alright.
We. Okay.
Nice team. It's analog made by Switch
Level heads
Watchmaker.
until we're home.
I feel like
yes?
there's something nice about an analog speedometer, no? Can I have a Sharif, please? Oh, you don't have one.
Hey, yeah. Love to give you one.
Oh wait, I can buy this. Wait, Dinesh, hello. Thank you for the sub. You do not have to at all. Thank you, thank
Track
you.
them down.
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
I know the time doesn't always work out for you, so it's nice.
Smoke's
It's
down.
nice to see
Deploying
you.
drone.
Placing sentry.
There's a.
Can you guys make it?
Enemy.
Two market.
Shot down.
Smoke's down.
That's it, though. That's okay.
Okay.
Reloading.
Have you seen? Did you want to pretty nice? Well, I feel like
Enemy spotted.
it's nice to see on a, you know, on a round thingy, you know.
Enemy spotted. Reloading.
Very nice, Joe.
Oh god, I just fucking ran
Check this.
again. That shit.
There's a Vandal on my body, by the way.
I'll find you.
Wait. Oh my god, you almost left me behind. You left the brimstone behind.
We left her behind. Had to be
One
there.
has Vandal, by the way.
Sacrifices had to. Oh.
Molly.
Okay. She has
Shot down.
gun.
Last player standing.
Gotcha.
One enemy remaining.
Whoa!
Okay. Time
No,
for the
for me.
protein shake.
I did you want to buy Merc? You can
Keep
come
Wait,
to
taking
my
Seven, you had a
stream.
mic this whole
Even
time?
if they aren't.
I've been coming this whole time.
Oh, what the fuck? Yo, I must.
Yeah, so you had a mic this whole time?
That reminds me of that one game.
Oh yeah. I like that. I
Yeah.
think it looks more cool when it's a old school speedometer.
You didn't say a word last game. What do you mean?
Oh my god!
Yeah, dude.
No one did. We had the most silent game ever.
They're actually
We're
called
bullying.
out.
Stim beacon here.
I'll find you.
B.
I got ult here.
Placing swarm grenade.
My ult is ready.
Grenade.
I'm ulting site.
I'm blind.
Nightmare, take them!
One
Bring
default.
them down.
Close right.
Bring them down.
Pretty
He
good.
TP'd someone.
Backside, backside. Yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Spike planted.
What the fuck?
Where was he?
We'll catch them.
How's the Vandal? You're
Nice.
actually such a nerd. Holy fuck. You did?
Savor the good dreams while you can.
Actually, such a nerd.
Why am I getting flamed? I should have never talked.
240 of these cards will be made and all 240 have been sold. Wait, who's bought one?
Watch,
Whose
I'm gonna
famous
see on
stats
defense,
bought
I'm gonna
one?
see him
Over
sitting
there.
right here with an Odin,
Over
fucking
there.
wall
Oh
darting.
yeah, 100%.
Future is now.
I already know it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna do the
never
one
seen
where
that.
you can do it over
Yeah, she looks so
tree,
nice.
and then you can just shoot it through the.
She's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
Stim
yours?
beacon down.
Bring them
Oh, I
down.
thought they were a duo.
We found one.
I bit the.
Reloading.
I'm just gonna
One
miss
on
it.
one of them.
Where are you? Mark one. Placing swamp grenade. Swamp grenade out.
Molly.
Placing swamp grenade.
Oh!
There.
I fucking Molly, sorry.
One down. Spike planted.
We'll catch them.
Smoke's down.
Destabilizing.
Perfect accuracy.
One enemy remaining.
He's ulted.
Where the fuck am I?
Wait, what?
Everyone just rotates around.
Destabilizing.
Bring them down.
Nice! Bugatti Engineering's mid check.
They have courage,
Tony?
but no one is immune to fear.
Seg? What is that? That sounds like, oh my god, that sounds like a, it sounds like kitchenware. It sounds like the crony? The kitchenware? Twist hypercar menu.
I need a gun.
Oh.
Thank you.
Don't overthink it. That's my job.
Wait, did you watch the F1? I was talking to someone about the
Please
F1
send
the
you.
other day.
Stim
Bring
beacon
them
here.
down.
I'm a man reborn.
Oh god.
Where
Oh!
are
Okay.
you? Mark one.
Could be tree.
Bring them down.
Launching smoke.
We found one.
Enemy spotted A. Reloading.
I'm blind as fuck. 120.
Spike down A.
I got a spike.
There's a judge in tree.
Lando team, I'm gonna.
I
Wait, what's wrong with Lando girlies?
Spikes down.
I don't know much about Lando except for the. I saw this Twitter clip of him
Enemy down.
taking
Last
someone
player
else's thunder.
On the money.
Oh my god, I think she wins this. Wait,
Oh.
she's immortal.
58
She's
on
so
this side.
good.
One here.
One enemy
Enemy
remaining.
down.
Last one on there.
Main, maybe? I don't want to.
I'm yeah. I'm
That's
scared.
static ping. Why not?
Damn! Oh my
The old
god.
dog now.
You're the best.
They're so annoying. You're happy for Lando. Oh my god. Oh yeah. We're talking about how Charles Leclerc has the hottest girlfriend ever.
Redemption arc from last game.
Wait, who's the KJ? Were they from our last game too?
I think so.
Over there.
I think he was the Reyna.
Out.
Oh.
They are mine.
I don't know though. I'm just guessing. Okay.
Placing sentry. Get out of my
Bring
way.
them down.
Stim beacon down.
Wait, why are they annoying?
What the? Nobody.
I'll find you.
One in spawn.
Enemy tagged. Headshot.
I am the hunter.
Oh!
Enemy remaining.
That's holy.
Spike planted.
Take hold.
Okay. Okay then.
I'm ready.
Norris and Leclerc fangirls are the worst. Wait, how come? I just like the little kid that goes,
She wants to buy
Charles
it. She wants to buy
Leclerc! Leclerc! That
it. I
TikTok.
think she wants to buy you.
Oh.
Anyone feeling generous?
I'll find them.
How's the game's going? They're going good. I ranked up to diamond! I'm a diamond girl!
Bring them down.
Beacon here.
Wait, I ate someone.
Reloading.
Wait, everyone shot for so long!
Reloading.
Yeah.
I even had time to swing out of my...
Deploying drone.
Enemy spotted.
Smoke's down.
I'm going in.
Where are you?
Revealing area.
2 mid.
Spike planted. My ult's ready.
Take hold.
Oh!
My territory, my rules.
That's not good.
Smoke's down.
Wait, she wore
Last
herself
player
off.
standing.
He crouched.
Wait, that's...
Oh my god.
Okay.
Wait, why did I so laugh like that?
He started cackling.
He did. How was the shops, Cullen? Millennials make Lando their entire personality?
No.
Oh. Even
One
if
dream
they're at
ends.
fault.
Another begins.
I see, I see. Not even if one just Lando? Oh. Fair enough. I don't know, yeah. I didn't know how the fangirls work in F1
I'm gonna
world.
smoke short.
Damn, wait, are those Reno noises again? Yes, can you hear them? It's like the last week of Renos, so one more week of this and then we're out of
You know what
it.
to do.
Sentry.
But yes,
I'm
I didn't know you
afraid
could
of
hear them. Salt and pepper chicken for dinner though? Yeah.
Launching smoke.
Bring them down.
Sounds bloody delish. There's a Cypher Cypher B.
Get me.
Placing swamp grenade. Swamp grenade. Where are you? Here.
I'm blind.
Covering fire.
Bring them down.
The hunt begins.
Nice, KJ.
Cypher was
No, Cypher dead.
Spike planted.
two mid. My market.
2. Both coming market. Both coming market.
We'll catch them.
One enemy
You
remaining.
got both.
Did I get them? Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Now our nightmare is over.
Woohoo! Wait, I need to check my stats. Did I get them?
You did?
Reloading.
Unless they jumped. Maybe they jumped.
I got one. I think the Omen may have TP'd out.
Need equipment.
Thanks. I need a
Thank
gun.
you.
Thank you.
Salt and pepper chicken. What veggies? Oh my god, I don't know if these help, but you know those things where you mix with water and they have like all your like vitamins and minerals and like things that you lack, like those supplements, but like they taste delicious. I bought some of those at the Food and Wine show yesterday. I don't know if I got sucked into like this like
I'll get that spooky ghost
hokey
boy.
pokey shit, but
Placing
in my head
Over
there.
they're good.
Yeah. Bring them down.
Beacon down. No distraction.
Not hydrolyte, it's like it's like
Smoke's down.
My ult is
I don't know, it's like multivitamins in a drink.
You killed me?
With a classic?
Molly.
one down.
Under hell.
90.
Spike planted.
I think there's 2. One under hell. One tree, one heaven, I'm pretty sure.
Launching smoke.
One drop grass.
Last player
Double tree,
standing.
double tree, double tree.
Both.
90 on. Oh, 104, 140 jet. 90 on.
Are you 104, 140, 90?
One enemy remaining.
Oh!
Whoa!
Good shit, bro.
Some things you just can't teach.
Oh my god, she's taking us home.
Girls, other
What
girls
do
who
you
go
say,
after
girl?
104.90, I lost my
Ooh.
wins. Leave me alone. My brain is running on no fuel.
Hey, I told you to
I
go
know.
eat.
Silver.
I did go eat. Didn't work.
Oh my god. Super
Need
juice?
a drop.
Yeah, things like
Thanks.
that. That they have all the like good shit and you mix it with
Think
water and it's got like
still taking
random
its
like
time to the stomach.
there'll be like vitamin K, vitamin B12, stuff
Got
like that.
3 games.
Do you know you're so cute? He's like, that's the only way he could translate it so that I understood.
Enemy mark.
I bit her.
I'm gonna tag him again. He's
Rushing
coming back.
it.
Enemy
I tagged him again.
I've left
Bring them down. I'll find you.
Scanning ahead.
Is he hell again? No way.
Molly.
One more.
I'm closing the
Rain
door.
grass, one heaven. Pretty sure.
Planted.
2 heaven, 1 grass.
I know exactly where you are.
Take hold.
One enemy
Damn,
remaining.
Joe!
Woohoo!
My ult is ready.
Nice
Nice.
team!
Yeah.
What a nice team. And what a great team.
Last round
Go
before
for
the
me.
switch.
It's because
just
Posty sang a
vibing.
song with Tay Tay and he could not be a
Everybody just
fan.
vibing.
My team's so good, they're so nice.
Placing sentry.
They are.
We even took a break before, like we took like a 2-minute break before we queued again because you had to get your food.
I know. And we found them. Maybe they were getting food too.
True. I'm gonna...
Stim beacon down.
Enemy spotted B.
What is my basket?
Take flight.
He
Enemy
TP'd out.
Placing I'll find you.
Molly.
Mark one.
Oh my god, we're
I'm
scanning
blind.
them like groceries.
Oh, fuck me!
I am the hunter.
Backside with judge. In boat.
Deadlock backside still?
Shot that.
One enemy remaining.
Nice!
Mid. Going CT.
Nice! Wait, our team is so good! Oh my god, this... The jet just got scanned by
Yeah, got
everything.
scanned like groceries.
Everything got her. Sustain.
He actually got
be a
scanned
safety?
so hard.
Oh!
No?
GG's.
He did.
Defenders win.
Nice!
Death. Duelist death.
Initiated it. Okay.
Okay. You really took your own horn there.
Hey, tooting our horn, thank you very much.
You're right, but you include yourself in there too.
Uh-huh.
22, but that's crazy.
We just stole. That was a highway robbery.
That is crazy. Wait, were you there when we won our 2-3 surrender as well?
I was. And they were doing well too. They were doing
Yeah.
that weird smoke strategy.
Oh yeah.
The broom kept judging us.
Alright. Are you gonna go eat now? You should go eat.
I've already eaten.
I don't know if that's enough. Is that enough?
Play one more, then I'll go.
Okay.
That was a quick game.
That was. How long was that? Close game? Yes. Another close game, like the other day. Dude, that was a
16
17-minute game. That's crazy.
Literally a robbery.
Oh wait, who is Scrapyard, Baked Panda, and Yajair. Let me look at them. In our previous game. So Baked Panda and Yajair, are they duoed? Because they were speaking in-game to each other.
Match found.
Bindi.
Bind. Not the same team anymore. Double dualies, got a smoke, got initiate. Oh, we don't have sentence yet.
Yeah. Soon.
Player 5. Come on up. What's your plans for tonight? Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Gotta go do something.
Sounds suspicious.
Yes, very suspicious.
I'm Diamond Chip!
Yeah.
I'm
Something
Diamond!
happened to a friend.
You what?
In person. Something happened to a friend, close friend.
Ah. Oh my god, please don't. There. You do not have to explain that.
We'll leave it at that.
Oh god. Deadlock.
Deadlock?
How was Tay Tay
Who's
Chip?
coming through?
Did you hear Tay Tay while you were at the IU
Oh,
concert?
Deadlock with the... Is this Doos? Does he have Doos drag?
What?
Doos, trip strategy?
Oh, doo-doo! Maybe,
Yeah.
I hope so. Wait. Jet? Think about Tay in August?
Jet?
Wait, are you going? Are you actually going? Are you the chosen one? Do you have to wake up at 6 AM tomorrow?
Yep.
Ugh.
So then I have some evenings.
You what?
So I get to sleep in. I'll have some evenings in the later in the week.
Ah.
So I get to sleep in.
It's still ew. Brother,
Brother,
But I'm
What
manifesting.
goes
I'm
on inside your
manifesting
head,
for
yo?
you. What?
There's just memes floating around.
That means I'm on TikTok too much.
Brother,
I deserve a live stream when you go. So I'm manifesting for you. Oh, so I don't have to go back. You bought Tay merch?
My game crashed.
Nah, we're still waiting. You bought merch? Did you? Oh my god. Why are you gonna say that? Why are you gonna get my hopes up? What the fuck? What the fuck? I thought you got. Oh my god. I thought you got Tay merch. Wait, why is my lighting so good on stream today?
Your lighting.
Yeah. Wonder what happened. Think about it, get the blue
Glowing.
crew neck. Blue crew neck. Navy crew neck.
You're glowing. Producing your own light.
I know, what the heck? Why is it so nice?
When I'm done, there'll be nothing more than ash.
Who is it? It's the cute e-girl on the other team. Might be a remake.
Oh, no.
Oh no, dude.
Reloading.
Mikey, okay. Eyeball here.
Reloading.
Eyeball.
Reloading.
Is the AI adding stories to the memes? Oh my god, yes, the cheating boy one? Where they made it animated and stuff as well? Like they made it into a moving video? I think there's something wrong with my FT.
One heaven.
Reloading.
Wingman's planting.
Hello! Oh, good trade. Triples? Triples one?
Careful now. Launching smoke.
No, not that one? Oh.
Right here.
I saw them when they made the cheating boy into a video.
Target spotted.
And I was like, that's weird. Like AI changed it into a video.
Wait.
Sensor tripped.
One enemy
Target
remaining.
down.
Nice team!
Of what?
I see.
The ground?
Woohoo! KJ played
Get going.
A?
I'll protect wingmen with my life.
That's
No one will
a
harm
choice.
our little hero.
I don't think AI needs to be involved in
How did they know?
everything, you know?
They read us like a book.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I feel like most people go A first round.
Oh.
Who?
Oh. Yeah.
Up and away. No escape. Somebody's there.
Barriers deployed.
Someone's A.
That's Spike, Wings.
Sensor destroyed.
Sana, sana.
Reloading.
Spike's digging. Thanks, little man.
Oh wait.
Thanks, little man.
Bop.
Oh, Jesus! Okay, she just...
Reloading.
Astra in you.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god. We've got a bundle.
Last player standing.
Huh? Tag 40 after he dead.
That's true.
Goodbye.
Good advice.
I've got ult. 2 lives.
Okay. Let's get it. Yeah, we can go A then if KJ plays B, no?
Did A that round?
I mean, yeah, she played A that round because I
Come
got
on,
hit by the
little homie.
bloody turret
Let's get
on
it.
triple.
What shouldn't be B this round?
Reloading.
Reloading.
Dizzy's up.
Go! Watch your eyes!
No, there's my buddy.
Volley! If he can hear.
Oh my god, I've got everybody to the
No, we go B then, no? We go A then, no?
I knew it was gonna be B.
How did you know?
Because he probably thinks we're going A, B after seeing him twice.
Oh, that is the mind games.
Smoke's down.
Wingman's gonna
Where
plant
you
Spike.
It's okay, I got him.
We're done here for it.
Yay!
Spike
Thank
planted.
you.
Thanks, Wings. Thrash is ready.
Yeah, okay. Someone okay.
On you.
You are divided.
Dizzy, I saw you, Mosh.
See ya.
No surprises.
Last player
Ew,
standing.
we all died at the same time? Good bonus. Oh wait, we need bonus. That's a good bonus when we did bonus. Okay, where's KJ this time?
Make them
I think it's
regret
B.
their choice of profession.
Reloading.
You think it's there?
It still B.
Reloading.
Should we go A?
Yep.
Okay. You said
I go
it.
wherever the team. I go where the team goes.
We go where KJ doesn't go. To be fair, KJ's not that annoying. It's just when you jump out a
Andale.
hooker on B, that's the annoying part.
Yeah.
Careful now.
Up and away. Dizzy has targets.
I'm fucking sucked.
Wingman's planting.
Someone's
Back
A.
to me.
Oh, 78 on the nice trade.
Wait, what did you have? Oh, classic.
I had a classic.
Volley!
Get
Ew.
those down.
Wait,
Launching
why does everyone have guns and sheriffs? Oh, Deadlock's pretty good with the sheriff.
They're great. Reeling them in.
One enemy remaining.
Oh!
Last player standing.
Wait, winnable?
First one is a fake. Nope.
It's halved. Huh? Huh?
They think themselves are equals.
Wait, I
They are
swear that
mistaken.
hit.
No, I think it was shooting too far.
Oh my lord. Well, out of Valorant for today. How much did you play? Did you play more just now? Uninstall and save mental. Have you uninstalled and saved your mental locally? Have you uninstalled?
Oh my god.
It's all you, little homie.
I got him. I got the gecko.
Someone's there.
Launching smoke.
My ult's ready.
Plant the spike.
Blocking
Molly.
sight.
Smoke's down.
Spike planted.
Stim beacon down.
Over there.
No, I'm up,
Second,
bud.
get your ult.
Where the fuck is it?
That works.
Where the oh, it disappeared.
Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
My ult's ready. Bagged and tagged.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about my ult. I was just in the midst of
You're
them
all
all.
more important than words on a brief.
Meant for
Look out for each other.
just for
Chilling.
tonight. Just for tonight. Tomorrow's a new day, you know? Can it go six? Oh, I don't know where it goes. I always forget.
Watch and learn.
I got the spike.
Dropped.
Target spotted B.
It's a kindness.
Dizzy's up. I got you. I got you.
No escape.
I'm fucking stuck.
That's done here. My ultimate's right here. Molly.
Reload.
Got the spike, Wings. Ah, spin. My wingman's down.
Reloading.
You did good.
Any flankers?
Who the heck knows?
They're not ready. They're not ready. Go get him, buddy. Up and away.
Okay. Okay, what the fuck?
No sweat.
One enemy remaining.
Last guy, elbow.
Okay there.
Keep it up. Screw up and they're on us.
Tomorrow is Monday? Tomorrow is Monday. What do you got planned? How you doing? How you doing, Anderson? How you going? How is work going? I'm doing well, thanks. I managed a diamond, which we've got 4 days left, and I finally made it up there, back again. But how are you? KJ here, KJ here.
Dizzy's up top.
You should run.
Launching smoke.
We a TP? And oh,
The guy here.
okay.
Oh god.
Make the
Spike down
live.
B.
Go back.
Come on, let's go.
Oh,
Fire in the hole!
Someone's B.
okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Blocking sight.
Spotted A.
Last
Sounds
player
nice for
standing.
sure, but I'm not smart enough to take
Spike
it
down
unfortunately.
B.
Not smart.
Trained
Oh, that would be me too. I'd be like, that sounds like a good idea. But I will be stupid and not listen to it. I've been glad I got sick for the last couple of weeks when I'm feeling better. Thank God you're better. I'm glad you're feeling better. It has been a little while. I hope you're like taking care of yourself.
30
Did you take
seconds
time
left.
off work or you still work through the sickness? Oh,
That's 3.
Asu?
Molly.
Do it for the clip now. Oh,
This place is nice, but not nice enough to die in.
Reloading.
Let's win and get out of
did
here.
I not accept the invite? I thought I accepted the invite. Last 2 days. Literally for the last 2 days, for the last 2 weeks. Oh, good. Reloading. Good. Hello. I don't know how to change a party chat, so.
I could use a drop. Stay safe. Thank you.
You guys got this.
Thanks. Wait, he can observe?
No escape.
Up you go.
Blocking sight.
I'm sucked.
Enemy spotted A.
Back to me.
Oh, my baby's gonna die.
Shot my wingman.
I have the
One in
spike.
the smoke.
Last player standing.
Oh! Raze! Raze got everyone!
Oh,
Snack time!
Please, yeah, please remember to take time out for yourself because that's really important. Your health, as cliche as it sounds, your health is your wealth, and if you're not healthy, there's nothing else is really important. Half buy?
Dream
Half
big.
buy
Make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Right here.
Watch this!
Dizzy's up. Sana, sana. Saw you, Mud.
I'm blind as shit. There's KJ here? KJ here?
Right here.
Target spotted A.
There's lots of people A.
There's also lots of people B. I couldn't even collect my. Oh, I did collect my baby.
Like butter, baby. Smoke
Dizzy's
down.
up top.
Last player standing.
Ah! No!
Let's ruin their day. Reloading.
What we do? KJ played B that
IGL.
time.
Time to IGL, let's go.
Alright, go on.
Alright.
Go on, Joe.
Over there.
I'll swing showers with ya.
Sounds good.
I'll be up
Right
here, you
there.
can be down there. Oh wow, you're so.
Wait. you
Wait,
just
I
ops
thought
me?
you were swinging it with. You just
I was
ran.
swinging. I was swinging.
You just
I was swinging
ran.
the close angle. Wait, he legged you too?
Yeah, but I shot him. I hit him for something.
Enemy spotted B.
76 not too bad. Yeah, we had some good games. We had some FFs as well.
Reloading.
Up you go. Dizzy's down.
Blocking sight.
Open up the sky.
I'm about to die.
Launching smoke. Been beacon down.
I hit the Reina 80.
Last player
Gonna
standing.
go to see chat. Take care, Willie. Have a good night. Take care, take care. I'm in your. Okay, Beth. Alright, man.
Okay, we know the drill. Stick
Huh?
to your roles and we'll crush it.
Reloading.
Jet got really unlucky there.
How'd she get out? We were all
I
fucking.
know.
Oh, she dashed. I was like, we were all bloody stuck in the. in hooker.
Yeah.
No. What do we do? They're actually like everywhere. We can't get on a fucking site.
I know, it's so hard.
Up and away.
Care op, they have op.
I got
Okay.
you. I got you.
Blocking sight.
Launching smoke.
Reloading.
Right here.
Wingman's planting.
Good riddance.
Last player standing.
Dizzy's up. Blow him up, Mosh.
Fire in the hole!
I got the spike.
Okay.
Let's try.
No.
Last round in the half.
Either spend all the money
Need a drop.
or give it to me. Good cause either way.
Thanks, Anderson. What have you got time for the rest of your night? I can ulti us in. Do you think KJ's moved to A now because we were so B now that we were so unsuccessful in A? Let me know what's in there. Stays B?
Because like we can't hit it anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna ulti you.
It's all you, little homie.
Come on, let's go.
That's as far as she goes.
Bunch of guys, eh?
Plant the spike, Wings. Dizzy's up top. Somebody's there. Oh yeah! Monster on the loose! Down. Another. Órale. Fold it. Mosh pit. Thrash is ready. Thrash is going again.
Begins.
Thrash got a hit.
Have the spike.
Get him, get him.
Oh! Okay, I went too greedy.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, he got smoked. Oh my god.
Or has Vandal now as well. Got Helldivers too, so I'll be playing that with someone. Oh, I've heard it's really, really fun. Are you gonna play Elden Ring? The new DLC? Wait, the Deadlock Knife is so interesting when she changes.
What is it?
I don't know, actually.
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Last player standing.
Oh!
Pull them to their grave!
Holy.
Switching sides.
She sprinted for that.
I'll outshine all their radiance.
I haven't done today's connections yet, have you?
Not yet.
I need to do it, yeah. You can do it while you eat your lunch / afternoon tea.
Oh, true.
Dinner.
Hopefully it's easy.
I hope so too. Stars?
Right there.
Nobody A. I mean B.
Oh, I found them all!
Spike planted.
Yeah, nice shot. Oh, nice shot.
Full running gun.
That's what the frenzy's for.
What?
Enemy spotted A.
One down. You haul one?
One enemy remaining.
3.
Last player standing.
Oh, nice, Flicky.
At least they tried.
They all that dude, the fucking raised boombot got me at the end. If the raised boombot didn't get me, I would have fucking got them all. I would have just one tap.
I hate to say it, but probably best to play as a team.
It was a good boombot.
So, what's the plan?
Hey, imagine dying 13 times. Could be me.
Crazy. Actually, I've died more than that.
How
My
embarrassing.
ulti count doesn't count as a death.
Wait, does it?
No. I think I've died like 16 times.
I believe that, but not us. You never know. I could have bam 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 bam. 5 shots. All it takes.
Oh my god.
Up
Oh,
away.
4 people.
Dizzy has targets. It's all you, Mosh.
Oh.
Right there.
What now?
Well, why waste time, right? Unless it comes through the TP.
What if they just go B?
Okay.
Oh no.
No! I was trying to time it right.
Spike planted.
We love a good
Last player
thrifty, don't we?
standing.
Now we're cooking.
It's a bit late to say, can we not give them guns when we're... when it's 1v4?
If they mess with one of us, they mess with all of us.
Reloading.
Our Brim's forcing.
I feel like we should not. Half or... half? Oh.
See you on the other side.
Forcing.
Okay.
Smoke's down.
Him and Jett have to worry.
Blow him up, Mosh.
Oh wait, she jumped over! In you! No one said anything! Carlito, how you doing? How you doing? You alright? How you doing?
Headshot.
Launching smoke.
Problem solved. Throwing net.
Molly.
Winnable?
Okay.
Last player standing.
Good thing our Brimmy forced a vandal.
Gunner.
What if he wins?
One enemy
Oh!
remaining.
Oh my god. That was right.
Hold on to your hats.
Hold on to your hat.
Backside.
When did I get that sign?
We do what we do.
Dylan, hope you have a great
Get back to
stream.
chilling.
Thanks.
Playing from B.
I hope you're having a good chill time. You know? Are you gaming? Playing League? TFT? Can't remember. He's Deeg? Dude, he's like doing the opposite of us.
I'm gonna buy.
He's Deeg, no shield? That's crazy.
What a gamer.
Oh my.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
Lol.
Enemy spotted A.
They're running B.
They're running B?
Reloading.
Coming.
They're on B.
Planning?
Spike
Two,
planted.
us two both in there.
Right here.
They missed the molly.
Reloading. Right here. Launching smoke.
Reloading.
Okay. Okay.
Someone stick.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, my Brim smoked me off. I couldn't fucking see the spike to defuse with my baby
Not
because
the boom you hoped for.
I was smoked off. My goodness.
Let's reset. Deep breaths and all that.
Okay, our deadlock's no shield phantom. Is it better to have no shield good gun or shield but not as good gun, like a bulldog?
Pen. I don't know, actually.
What's up, Beth?
The hunt begins.
Right there.
They're coming, they're coming.
Saw you, Mosh!
Fire in the hole!
Okay. Could be on truck.
Enemy
Oh!
down.
Spike down A.
CT, CT.
One enemy remaining.
That's 3.
Careful now.
Smoke's dead.
Last player standing.
Oh! Oh! Holy! Oh, this is a nice phantom.
The MVP is mine.
The
Let's do this.
Recon is a great phantom.
Reloaded.
Is it because it shoots quieter?
I don't know actually. There's just something about it. Don't you think it sounds nice as well?
Did they
Check
change the sound?
DMs. Oh my goodness. You're gonna be like, Major,
I
look!
can't tell.
Let's go.
For myself now. Oh, okay. Hold on a sec. I'll do it after this round.
Someone's A.
Are they on?
Not yet.
Bunch of guys A. Taken down. Engineers down.
Right there.
Right here.
Okay. Tag 90.
There's one. Oh my god, I fell asleep because... I fell asleep!
You fell asleep?
Yeah! I knew there was someone there. Concerned for myself. Wait,
Stim beacon
what
down.
does that mean, Beth?
Spike planted.
What is that? Apparently Recon Photo has the fastest reload? Oh, is that why it's like pay to win? Oh, I thought you talking about the light bulb.
I really dislike the way these two play.
Yeah, do you think they're like
Here.
well, they're not doing anything?
Honestly, it's starting to get tilted.
What are they doing? They took so long.
I don't know.
It took so long.
Blocking sight.
111k
They're
to
both 1
to
HP.
get diamond and 111k to remove diamond. So don't is that
Hold on to your hats.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
huh? They took so long to decide where to ult and to go in? Oh my
This
goodness.
is crazy. It feels like we've been doing this forever. Anyone else feel like that? Just me?
We are poor.
I'm gonna save.
I don't think.
Reloading.
2 lives.
Okay. Don't die.
I will
Sure.
save
You said it, Beth.
it.
Slash unVIP. Is that the right one?
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose! Blow him up,
They're
man!
here, they're here.
Bunch of guys A.
Up you go! Somebody's there.
Someone's A.
No, he's still down.
Spike planted.
Throw them to their grave.
Okay.
Last player standing.
Ooh,
Launching
1v1.
smoke.
But he's not anymore.
One enemy
On the
remaining.
NT. I hit the gecko 39.
Pay attention. Might learn something.
Reloading.
I did 1 damage with my molly.
Nice.
It honestly changed the game. We lost that with a 1v2, but it could have been a 1v4 without that 1 damage, you know?
That is true. Game changing.
Don't hold back.
That's me. That's the impact I have.
Right there.
1 shower.
Coming through.
Okay, you're crazy.
Oh my god, there's one inside
Enemy
already as
spotted
well, and one far.
Enemy spotted right here.
Oh, nice.
I was blind. That bloody blind got me. Wait, how did our deadlock die?
Spike planted.
Oh, flanking.
One down.
Ooh. What a flick.
He's flicky.
Out of charges. Down and
Oh
out.
my god.
Smoke.
Watch this.
Last
Oh!
player standing.
Smoke's down.
Okay.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
One enemy
Down
remaining.
you go.
Oh, he crouched.
Very close.
That was very close. Welcome back, welcome back. Where'd you go?
Match point.
Look, don't start resting. Still what?
We're poor. Again. Almost got it if it weren't for the crouch.
Spending credits.
I forgot. I
I'm
have
alone.
TikTok brain. I'm coming.
Gotta judge. I will
Right,
hold
losing.
this
What
back.
the fuck, man? I wouldn't even wish that upon my worst enemy. Losing in Valorant?
I think it's A.
Okay. See you later.
Oh, 1B, 1B. Oh no, they're coming up long. Oh, they're already up. Can't go.
I'm out!
Wow.
It's all you, little homie! Fresh got him!
Got him.
Oh, the little shit had someone peek for him. The little
Spike
shit.
planted.
He got the killjoy to peek for him. The little piece of.
Hey.
Fire in the hole.
No, run away. Oh my god.
Last player standing.
Okay.
Attackers win.
Alrighty.
Alright. Holy fuck, it was too good to be true, you know.
Yep. It was.
Unfortunate.
Alright. GG's.
GG's, thanks for playing. Enjoy
Thanks for
your chicken and beans and
Oh, yep.
and rice.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later. Bye bye bye.
Bye.
Still done with it? That's true. That is true. I'm diamond. I am. You jinxed it. You said I couldn't rank up and I did. Look at that. Plus 19, plus 22. We eating out here. Let's see if dude is here. Hello? Yeah. Plus 22 on a 7-7 game. Well, we won 11-1 to be fair. And I did pretty well. Oh wait, they FF'd at 11-1. But 7-7 because look how many people I beat this diamond 2, this diamond 2, this diamond 1. Friends with me on Valor? I do not know them. And then plus 19 did pretty well. Wait, was that the game that I had the cracked? Oh, this was the game that we had the cracked Reyna. You got plus 10 RR. Do you have anyone else? Leah's gone to eat. Played really shit. Well, you play shit, you get shit, you know? LA? Chain Together stream? Oh my god, that's what my friends are playing the other day. No, yesterday. They're playing Chain Together yesterday. They already had a 4-stack playing.
Hi.
Hello? Leah's gone to
Hi.
eat. Anyone else want to play or?
I think the other guys are watching VCTs, like Tarek stream thing.
Oh. You didn't want to watch it?
Not right now.
Fair enough. I need to watch the reruns as well. I saw the
I think they're
end.
watching.
You go?
Hmm?
Okay, okay. Thanks.
Oh, I
Nas.
think they're watching NRG versus Sen.
Oh yeah, I saw the end of that one.
Oh.
Did you watch it? Do you know the results?
No, they're watching it right now. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh. Do you know the results?
Nah.
Ah. Do you want to know the results?
Kidding.
I won't share it.
I don't know if I watched it, but I don't know.
Did you watch the games yesterday? The Pacific games?
Oh, PRX?
Yeah.
Nah. I don't think I watch any like VCT unless it's like a tournament.
Oh, like the Masters or Champion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, Champions comes in like a month and a half already. Like, that's crazy fast.
Yeah. I want to go to Korea, watch it, you know?
Do it.
No money.
Fair enough. I would love to as well, but all the tickets are sold out anyways.
Already?
It's sold out like instantly, the Champions, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no, hold on. It's not on sale yet. It's not on sale yet.
Yeah, I was like,
it was the ones, the last Masters. Brothers by chance, lovers by choice. You just couldn't find that. We look alike. Oh my god.
Everyone today. I expected more people to be on.
I too. Maybe everyone's just out living their best life.
It's a Sunday. It's a rest day. You're supposed to do that on Saturday.
That is true. Sundays are for staying in and no life in games.
Exactly.
Never a chance to You're just like Beth for real, for real.
I want to get to Ascended 2 before this act ends.
That's 3 days. What are you on now?
46 or something.
Oh, not
know,
bad. Not bad.
Only wins, only dubs.
Okay, that's you can't say that.
Only dubs.
My goodness. That's a lot of ascendance. That's a lot of ascendance. Wait, we have matching teams. This is the first time I've seen an exact match in a long time.
We have to actually calm this game.
How are you, me fella?
You have to.
Sorry guys, I have to.
He has no idea
what
he just said.
You literally said we have to comms and you cursed the Rainer into yelling at us. Oh my god. Right streams are just valid with different skins. Yeah, I need to find another game to play. Maybe a solo game. Maybe a...
It's a very good thing. It's gonna be like our Brim from a Haven game.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be real bad.
The Lost Mental.
Blocking movement.
Oops, that was a bad one.
I'm out. Get him, wingman.
Multiple enemies A.
Okay.
Reloading.
We got this
Planted. Last player standing.
Oh god.
I need to turn on my volume.
Oh my god. We were playing with Leo before, we had a deadlock and he was like, do you think they have the same walls as Dudu? Your walls! Oh no, I think it was Bind maybe?
Oh. I don't even know any walls. I just throw this whenever I feel like it.
You just fucking frisbee that shit. Well, your walls are notorious now. You got good rep.
Ah. I don't know how to play Deadlock.
What do you mean? You like main Deadlock?
They're on B. They're on B.
Okay, I'm turning him down even more.
Spike planted.
Deadlock's like 52.
Last player standing.
50 deadlock.
Oh, Deadlock's like 1.
Dizzy's up. Someone's there.
One enemy remaining.
Okay. I picked up his gun as well. I just heard the. Ah. Wait, not a bad
I'll tell you.
economy though.
We should win.
Who's sponge? What do you mean no way? I double dinked him.
Yep. I thought good.
The movement.
Alright, let's win. Well,
Yes.
this Reina needs to pop off, bro. Like, well, he can't be loud and not pop off.
I know, you can't be that obnoxious and not do well.
Barrier deployed.
Wait, they're pushing.
Yikes. Oh, you're nothing.
Mosh pit. Damn.
One enemy remaining.
Right there. Dizzy's up top.
Nice team! Woohoo!
Spike spotted A.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost
Now we're
one gun,
talking.
but,
Don't jinx it,
she
though.
has
Stay
knives.
humble.
It's all good.
She what?
She has knives. It's all good.
Oh, easy. Nice team. Surely they go B now, right?
Really.
I'll go B.
Deadlock I got. It's not good.
Let's fly.
Oh, that was quick.
Got a lot of kills in the pistol round.
I think that big.
Watch this.
Watch this.
Yeah, that big.
Saw you.
My territory! I have them now!
Okay.
Spike planted.
Big.
Blocking sight, no.
Last player standing.
3 yellow.
I hit deadlock for 1. Huge damage. Oh god. Okay. Okay.
Gecko, fuerte y feroz. They will not hesitate. You must
Add
not
me
either.
Alteruni.
Game's hard.
These are your people.
Whoa, that's right.
I only just got up to diamond like 2 games ago. So these are your people.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
I can reverse alt him back.
Save them, but I cannot.
Spike planted.
Okay.
She's still gunning
Last
for
player
you.
standing.
Aim today.
Oh! Alfred? Von Dingle?
Oh, they're both there.
Both there, yeah.
Still in sight. No peeking.
Oh.
Alfred and Alfredo.
Race it to the spike sites.
Alright, maybe I have to play this.
Half-by? Alfredo.
I like how you type in half when you can just say nothing.
We can just say no. It's because the clove full bought.
B. This match is so good.
Last player
Whoa!
standing.
144 on
Spike
the
planted.
jet!
Flawless.
And Entry.
They double pushed it. That's crazy.
No.
Their death demands our
Why are we
attention.
struggling?
Did he say? Who said why are we struggling?
I said where are we struggling?
Oh, where are we struggling? I don't. I think it's they overwhelm. They just 5-man it.
I think I have to actually run.
I'm Diamante. I'm a Diamante. Flip. Let's get it. Is that B?
B.
Oh, he's loud.
Throwing net.
It's all you, little homie.
Spike planted.
Got her.
One enemy remaining.
Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
Oh, yellow, back yellow, back.
I'm deceased.
One enemy remaining.
40.
Nice! Woohoo!
Let's go!
I got C.
Thanks.
Eating good. I can't believe I actually like the games we were very lucky. We had like
Actually,
lots
good.
of forfeits.
I'm so used to the not good smokes.
They're not good smokes.
Listen up, you
Wait, but
muckers.
what do you mean
If
not
I
good
don't
smokes
get
in your
back up, just
elo?
give me a nudge. I might not be
They
dead.
don't
You're-
smoke properly.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's like when we play a 5 stacks, like their smoker doesn't smoke properly. This one actually smokes all the good stuff.
Oh, that's the clothes for ya nowadays.
Let's go.
How was your hike?
Good luck, B again.
I'm leaving.
B again.
I'm gonna turn him down.
Okay,
Be faster. Enemy spotted B. One less.
Flashing.
Up and away.
Yellow.
Somebody's there. No, I'm
Enemy
not.
spotted B. Spikes.
Oh, that's a fuck. That's my bad.
Yellow man.
One enemy remaining.
80.
Tag.
Fucking crouch. Nice.
Ran out of bullets.
Groceries eater today.
Vibe check. We feeling good?
No,
Hope
no
so, hope so.
Macca's, no takeaway. Short. Oh, how long was it? An hour?
Go right can you buy?
Thank you.
He hesitated for so long.
He was like fucking around with the flow.
Keep up.
Thank you.
B again?
Again?
I'm hurt.
Dizzy's up. Someone's there.
Spike planted.
My territory.
One enemy remaining.
70, 70, 70.
No.
Nice team! Dude, I blinded 4 people.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was fighting my demons in mid.
Oh yeah, you were.
My ult is ready. Fast vacuum deactivated.
Oh, why not? That is a very short hike, especially for you as well, who goes on like good long hikes.
He says their bullets tickle.
Maybe they were finally sick of you walling it, and they wanted to fight back.
Could have a job.
Can I have a drop?
One dingle? He has money. The fuck?
Scam.
Actually scammed.
Get out of my way.
Okay.
Back like I never left.
Back like I never left. Wait, I heard a dash.
Enemy spotted B.
120 deadlock.
Whoopsies. That was an accident.
Looks one.
Okay.
Gun here.
Nice. There's a lot of ultis.
One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Ultimate. Nothing there.
Good look.
Up you go. Somebody's there.
Reloading.
I have no help.
Last player standing.
Outside, default.
You're a little man for defuse.
Wingman's defusing.
Oh, I didn't know where she was. I hate the plants on top
The enemy only looks
because
composed. Their hearts
they could be anywhere. No. Rank reset this week? Yes, I think so. I think so. Does the rank reset this week? Like you get a full rank, like 5 game reset or like a 1 game reset?
I could use a drop.
It's a full rank reset.
Oh, that's 5 games!
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what happened when I played last time? I went back to silver. I don't have a diamond border. I have a diamond buddy, but that's it. Then I went to silver. I had to fight my fucking way up.
Spike down, attacker spawn.
Dude,
I'm getting a gun.
Gun here.
They're all 1. I think I'm all 120.
Watch this.
It's not planted though, no?
Hostile down. You had your fun.
One enemy remaining.
Spike spotted.
Spike down, B.
Run, everyone run. See you later. Bye.
Oh my! What? Everyone, see you later. Bye bye. Like you couldn't run out in the open, so you had to run around
round before the switch.
around the nest. But like, I couldn't run. My goodness. Wait, what's the diamond border? Oh, the diamond triangle. Diamond triangle. Alrighty. Not bad. Just get the cloven, we good.
The hunt begins.
Get here, A.
Shop there.
Saw you, Mosh. Oh yeah, monster on the loose.
Enemy spotted.
Okay.
Last player standing.
Up on it, ease.
Oh, NT. Oh my god, where? How you doing? It's attack
Switching
side.
sides.
Yeah.
Games are good. I ranked up, so I'm back to diamond. How you doing? I'm gold. Let's go! Are you streaming right now? Or are you just chilling? Don't play so you say damn it. That's true, but it's a full rank reset apparently. So that's a 5 game reset, which means that we're going down. You play 5 games. I went to silver last rank reset. I went to silver from diamond. Yeah, what are you having for lunch?
I'm here to stay.
What's for lunch? Go back to I. No, it's like you fought so hard to get up and then you get fucking fucked by the rank reset.
Enemy spotted.
No people.
Dizzy's up top.
Plant the spike.
Dropping a barrier deployed.
Wingman's gonna plant. There's my buddy. Shot me. I got the spike.
Backside one.
Spike planted. Back to me.
Reloading.
They're not ready.
They're both green.
Dizzy's up. Someone's there.
Reloading. Dropping a scope.
Run.
Last
Okay,
player
I got
standing.
right clicked.
Oh my God.
I got right clicked.
How do we lose that? We'll 3v
No.
Lives are so meaningless.
Let's gonna go lunch.
Just
Get
will
lunch.
get
Enjoy your
into
lunch.
me.
Enjoy your lunch. Good luck. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your lunchies. Gecko plays A. I blinded 2 people. Thank you as well.
They're not better than me.
We got this. Blinding?
Up you go. Sana, Sana.
Enemy spotted B. Dropping smokes.
They're not ready.
Enemy spotted. Last player standing.
Okay.
Spike down B.
Oh! Alfredo.
He pops up in the enemy, and then when we have guns, he doesn't do
Alright,
it.
lucky socks.
Yeah.
Don't fail me now.
Alright, let's get this. La bomba.
There.
Alright, we got this.
Let's fly.
I'm 512. I'm 512.
Enemy spotted A. Enemy spotted A.
No peeking.
Up and away.
Blocking sight.
Dizzy has targets.
Enemy killed.
Wingman's planting. I got you. I got you. Spike sticking. You did good.
I'm low health.
Cutting their vision.
Enemy spotted mid.
Dizzy's up.
Okay.
Dizzy has targets.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Don't worry,
Okay.
Prince. It hurts, but I'm good.
Okay.
Combat is a means.
Oh, I
to
still
an end,
retain my gun.
And we
Nah, you didn't
are
die. You
the
didn't die.
means.
Oh, I was still getting reeled in.
Yeah.
There.
That's crazy. Nice team.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either.
Every
But we-
time I die, it just goes downhill. I really should just play safe.
There.
But the ego, you know?
There.
They're like the E
Right.
says go.
Oh, jet the-
Enemy spotted A.
Drop in a smoke.
Yeah, yeah.
Enemy spotted A. Stay down. My ult's ready. No peeking.
Dizzy's up top. That's the spike, Wings.
Okay. Wait, get her!
God, you're fun. Sight.
My
Wait, the jet's back here?
Last player standing.
The jet went back?
Drop in a smoke.
No. She was like halfway on site and then she left.
Symphony of Death.
Yep.
Oh my.
The jet was watching flank or something, and then died.
And she was like up to fridge and then she left. Jesus. I will blind here.
Careful here.
Up and away.
Huh?
There's my buddy.
Drop in a smoke.
Cutting their vision.
Blocking sight.
There's so many fucking smokes everywhere.
Reload. Enemy spotted B.
Dizzy's up.
Headshot. Ultimate ready.
Wingman's gonna plant spike.
Wait, we planted! I
Last
planted!
player
Okay.
standing.
120 on deadlock, are you serious?
Okay. Oh my god, these games are so chaotic. Dang it. Do you have a solo
Not
queue?
bad.
Drop in a
Not bad
For an
eco.
eco? Yeah.
I got your backs.
Do you have a solo
You
queue?
know, from the front.
Not really. I usually only play 5 stacks because I get bored.
When you don't have someone to yap to?
Yeah.
That's...
I play Valorant to socialize, not to win.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Let's see how it goes.
Like if I really want to win, I wear a headset, solo.
Wow. When you go into sweat mode.
I think I
Sit down. Try me.
Good stuff, man, guys.
Back to me. Saw you, little homie.
Get out of my way.
There's one there.
Target spotted A.
Blow him up, man.
Last player
Oh, I
standing.
just turned
Are
around.
you serious? I netted her and she gets the kill when she jump shoots me.
Look at us at the bottom. 10, 10, 10. Oh man.
Match point.
Can't win a game on attack.
I got
Stay
two.
alive, please.
Wait, we have a one. Oh, we have one on attack.
You won one.
We had one on attack. And it was our buy round and their bonus round.
So we bring it back now, it's time. We need a lurker, that's what we need.
Yeah. But I can't lurk because I plant.
I don't quit.
I don't quit.
Still in sight.
Dizzy's up top. Someone's there.
Wait, you got someone. I don't know who, but you got someone.
Target
Get help!
Pathetic.
dropping smokes.
Still in
They're
sight.
not ready. Dizzy's up.
Enemy.
Wingman's planting.
One enemy remaining.
My turn.
Spike planted. Thanks,
One
Wings.
enemy remaining.
Jesus.
Nice. She's B side, left side. Yeah, on bomb.
Oh. Oh, she was ulted. She
Hey, little
was
man, pump us up.
ulted.
Let's hear it.
I didn't even realize.
Could have a
Oh,
drop.
nice team. Oh my god, look at me! 12-15! My goodness.
Alright, we're bringing it back.
Okay, look, we're 7-12. I like the optimism.
It's like, you guaranteed, like, promise, we'll bring it back.
They have a lot of money though.
But we still
Drop in a smoke.
Up and away.
No beacon.
Cutting their vision.
Nothing there.
That's Spike, Wings. Spike's
Saw that
digging.
coming.
Thanks, little man. There's my
yeah.
buddy. Monster
Like I
on the
never
loose.
Oh,
left.
there's three.
Refreshing.
Last player standing.
Back side.
One enemy remaining.
Oh,
so
no! No! That was
Defenders
such a
win.
fast game, I felt like.
It was too hectic.
It was. I'm so grateful I turned him down at the beginning of the game. Did you hear his yell at the end?
Yep.
Oh, minus 14, not bad. We got 5 out of 100 left.
Minus 19. Oosh.
Damn. Wait, Sunny Jim's ass too?
Yeah, shit. Invite him.
We can't even play.
We get a 5 stack.
Can we get a 5 stack?
Let me message 5 stack. Oh, he's in. And then we get Candy.
Hello.
Don't ever invite me again. Good luck.
I want him to leave and then I'm gonna buy him again.
No, use the flash stack.
Nah, I'm gonna play Swifts with Kevin, Sophie.
Alright.
Okay, good
You
luck.
wanna play? You guys wanna play?
No, thank you. Don't ever invite me again.
Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Do you have anyone else on?
I do not. Do you?
No.
You can play Swiss with them if you want as well. Feel free.
I'll get to a set it too.
At this rate?
Yeah.
Alright, we'll try. I didn't do as bad as I expected though, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a high elo game for you.
Yeah, I beat the other diamond, the diamond 3s.
It's alright, it was a warm-up game. Remember, we always lose our first one, and then it's always a win afterwards.
Yeah, but I played 4. I played 5 games today. Oh. 1, 2, 3.
It's alright, you're diamond, though, see?
That's true, but this I'm 5 out of 100 diamond.
5 out of 100. Oh shit. Oh, well, you're not D-ranking.
That's true. I ain't D-ranking after this game, that's for sure. Oh!
I like it, a neon.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna quickly go pee. I'll be back in a sec. I'm back! I need pee!
Who will they cry for once they know they're going to die?
Go, go, go! I have the spike.
Oh, in the smoke, in the smoke.
Enemy A.
Wait, where's Gecko, bro? What? No idea. Hell no. Don't go in, don't go in, don't go in.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
Oh my god, I'm back.
Oh.
No, I'm back, I'm back.
We did. We're in the tag 90. Oh, they're on A.
Up you go!
Okay. No. Right before reset would be tragic. Dude, the reset, you literally D-rank like 2 ranks.
Go to self-assessment.
Hello, baby. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Reloading.
Anyone in chat watch Send vs. Anti? I watched the end of it. Did you watch it?
Reloading.
Who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting for?
Reloading.
Never seen you lose things. Jesus. Let's go back from work. Oh, on a Sunday?
Aguas, keep your guard up.
On a Sunday? You had to work? sleep. I'm gonna have a good nap. Have a good nap.
Oh, bro. Not a one.
Oh, 26. There's a cipher on C. Watched the whole game and I've already won 500 bets on America's game. Wait, who did you bet on? Who
Last
did you bet
player
on to win?
standing.
Whoa! Wait, that's almost winnable for a Bucky Neon.
True.
High R per win to get back to normal rank? Nah,
He just didn't have the
just normal R. Unless you do
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really well. Then you get like combat bonuses. Or you skip a rank. Hey, I've won those before. Not today, but I've won those before.
I'm out of here. Gotta go.
Okay, Cypher C. I don't know if we want to fight that. The MIBR would beat Leviathan. Another
Come on, little homie. Let's get it.
No way, they thought MIBR would beat Leviathan.
Reloading.
Got him.
They're coming to A.
Oh, God. I have no health.
We have C.
Do you have C?
We have C, but
Oh. What's that Neon doing? Is that Neon frozen?
yes. No. What? Oh, one long.
The fuck was that Neon doing?
Oh, planet A.
Where do we go? What do I do? Heaven?
No.
One enemy remaining.
This Omen actually somehow
Clutching
positioned
it
so
up?
well because the neon big break to go to A.
Actually, that's what the that's the stupidest round I've ever played.
They have not won yet. Gotta go.
I can buy for you.
I can use a drop.
Yep.
To be fair, Shazam
need a
was an
gun.
unexpected variable for Lev. That's true.
Gotta go.
But wasn't there 2 subs though? There were 2 subs, no? What's up, Nas? I was about to watch LCK and then I saw you went live 3 hours in. You can still watch the LCK though, you can still watch
I lost all
LCK.
my health because of that sniper.
How do you know if a vampire's unwell?
Arrows.
How? Let me get this spiky. Should I get this good enough? I heard he didn't do
I
too
just
bad
packed
though.
on platform.
That's too...
No one there, 50. No.
We want to commit?
Last player standing.
Did we all die?
Spike
together?
down.
Yeah,
mid.
I didn't know if we were gonna commit C because we saw 2 there.
No, we killed 2 there.
But... No, but
So
this...
that means the site would be free if we pushed up together.
Oh, I didn't know we killed 2. I thought they were still there,
Hey,
alive.
Neon. Mosh
they
kind of
killed
likes
the
you.
Cypher and they killed the ISO.
Oh.
Reloading.
Hi! Hello, hello!
Are we buying or saving?
Stop by, say hi. Oh, I'm about to cuss. Oh my god, go rest, go
Yep.
sleep, Moo, go sleep.
Nope.
That's why Sarah dropped him before they let Catherine take
Nope.
over his
I
code.
will not die today. I'm out of here.
Oh, you're not a Shazam fan?
I have
A Shafan, if you will.
Gotta go.
Breaking them.
Shadows traveling.
Dizzy's up top. Showing you. Stopping fire. Wingman's gonna plant spike. I got you. I got you.
I'll spawn.
Mosh pit.
Barrier deployed.
Nice barrier.
Oh, that's terrible.
Destabilizing.
One might be low. Vulnerable.
Reloading. Dizzy's
One
up.
enemy remaining.
Oscar Heaven.
Nice team! What region is this? OCE. OCE region.
That's like a thrifty too. Let's go.
Oh yeah, half thrifty.
Obliteration. I will survive
The
them.
Shazam. You're on the Shazam hate train too. Oh god. You asked me to play the sub against the T2 team and I'm gold? Wait, why? Which T2 team? I don't know many. Okay.
Let's go.
I don't know, you're just jumping on the bandwagon?
Get out of my way.
Focusing.
I don't know if we want to go in here.
Shadows
That's a Cypher trip. Okay, fair enough.
Making cover. Somebody's there. Wingman's planted.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my! The fuck happened?
Spike's ticking. Thanks, little man.
I don't know.
Ready.
Var försiktig. The battlefield changes.
Who's 003? Oh, the Reina.
Reina.
They're speaking a lot. But he knows because I saw people talk about it, bro. However, a joke. I didn't see the. I don't know what the he knows is. I heard about the she
I that
knows.
cipher. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah, what the fuck? You just did you tap him through smoke?
My first kill.
Woohoo!
Okay, buddies.
Oh, hello,
Focus up.
Flipper. Yeah, I don't know what the he knows. I saw him.
Show me a cover going out.
The hunt begins. No distraction.
Shadows traveling.
Up and away.
Oh no, Omen died. Oh, backside. Two backside.
Oh, I got shot behind the ISO. Oh, he had a shield. I was like, I got shot behind the ISO. Ah!
You blink.
Jet's backside.
Wait, go A. Go A, no, go different side.
They're big brain.
Vulnerable.
I'm out of here.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, fair enough. Pretty much someone was vaccinated and his partner stepped into
Last
the
player
Oh,
standing.
yeah, no, I heard about that one. I thought that was a she knows.
Yeah!
Nice!
You did good
Hi.
today.
Fight's not over.
No, you can't say
Go,
that.
go,
Dude
go.
is trying to get to Ascendant too. I'm 5 out of 100 on Diamond after being up like 30.
Oh,
You can't
Today's
say
the
that.
day.
alright.
We're going Radiant or nothing today.
Okay.
Damn. Get me in that
I
stack.
can buy. Who needs
Well,
what?
at least I won't talk about it. Yeah, I don't know
1-6.
too much.
Please
About it. I
don't.
just saw a
No
bit like
heroics.
random tweets
Follow
about
protocol.
Come here, let's go. Let's go.
Reina has the one less blind.
Spike drop. I have the spike.
Dizzy's up top. Someone's there.
Oh, DK.
Watch out. I'm out of here. Here we
Okay,
go. Spike drop.
Yeah.
I got the spike. Got the spike, Wings.
Flank one.
Flanky still.
It's
Last
you
player
and me.
standing.
Fuck, 80 Reina.
Wait.
One enemy
Oh!
remaining.
Oh!
so close.
TNT. Mr. Sen, they won chance in 2021 disappeared. That's what happened to a lot of teams though, no? Like they just disappeared. That he's a
Thrifty.
bit of them.
I doubled my kills.
Woohoo! We're in this
Yeah.
together.
Instinct only goes so far.
Except imagine dying 7
Skill
times.
covers the rest.
Couldn't be me.
One less.
wanna say
If I
hi.
die this round,
Oh, hello there. I hope you have a good
Um,
night tonight.
Oh, it's not happening. I'll tell you later.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy El Dorado.
he's not coming on.
Hey, maybe after dinner. Maybe after
Hello
dinner,
there.
What we do.
I reckon.
I haven't eaten today yet. I should eat after this.
The night is
Oh,
still
that's
young,
why I'm
dude.
not doing well. 'Cause I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. Guys, another 17 that did fit onto a G for Sunday. Yeah, that was unlucky, that whole situation. That was so unlucky.
Oh, Omen.
Schmoman.
No, ISO.
There's like 3 on C, I think.
See ya.
Wait, it's just us.
Last player standing. Spike down mid.
Jet hit 40. Then it's got the road to challenge it to send this champs 2 years in a row, I think. First stream on Twitch Whispers. What's stream on Twitch Whispers? What is that?
Are we bro?
What does that mean? Wait, who do you root for? Fading Eternity. Who are you rooting for then? Do you root for Sentinels?
I'm out of here.
Let me ulti down to short.
Oh, where am I?
Where are you?
See you on the other
Those
side.
pop off in champs. Ah.
It's all you, little homie. Show me your target.
Got him!
Begin.
Nice.
One more. Enemy spotted A.
Reloading.
How the fuck? Oh wait, I'm not dead.
Good. Jet 40, Clove 80, plus heal.
Ready. We're going again.
With his forward, 3A, 3A, come on.
I know exactly where you are.
Reeling them in.
I'm going to C. Was Jet there as well?
Fuck is here.
Wingman's gonna plant spike. Spike planted.
Stop ulti.
Thanks, Wings.
About how my stream went. Oh! Oh, like the DMs, right? The DMs?
One enemy remaining.
There's no time. Okay. Yep, off, on. On. Off, off.
Last player standing.
Off.
Go, go, go.
It's halved. Wait!
Bro, what is
Huh?
Clutch.
What?
The neon. That wasn't me. The neon threw.
What's the neon doing?
I will take back what is mine.
Does he freeze regularly?
Bro, I couldn't shoot, bro. I was spamming it.
Oh, his ping is 76.
Oh,
He got
neon
ping
day.
fucked. Sand might genuinely win it or to copy every other region from ever getting a champs trophy. I'm rooting for Pacific though. I want Pacific to get a champs trophy. Or Pacific or China, an Asian team.
Come on, little homie.
I didn't throw that.
get it.
My neon threw that. Wait, they have?
Throwing net.
Jeez. Good net. Wait, I didn't know they'd won every
Cypher's
champs.
C.
Let's go A then. I don't want to go deal with Cypher.
I'm out of here.
Go A, maybe.
Short? Okay.
Spike down A.
Nice.
My ultimate, I have the spike.
Okay, Benny, are you drunk? Are you drunk? Got Shanghai for last time. Yeah, I'm so glad that Genji got Shanghai.
Cover going out.
Oh my god,
Team
I need to close the door a bit.
They died underneath our boots.
Last round in the half.
Spend everything. We keep nothing.
That was construction. My bathroom's getting renovated, so we've been dealing with that for so long, but last week of dealing with it, thank God. How the games? I'm diamond. Okay.
Opening C, there's 2.
I'm diamond. How are
ISO's
your
here
games
as well,
going,
just said it.
Ben?
Blow him up, Mosh. Up and away. Show me a target. You did good.
There's one on side.
What?
Okay, Neon. I mean,
Spike
Clove.
down
Clove backside.
A. Last player standing.
We have robbed Genji at Midget when we took the assets. It's good to see them redeem this as another BF5. Yes. It was looking dicey for a second, but I feel like the last map was like a wash. Like there was a wash.
Switching sides.
When you say we, are you Euro then? You're going for EMEA? Do you love the drilling? We're gonna demo part of the house end of this year. I didn't say I love the drilling. You love the drilling. Are you solid? I'm a duo. Me and the Deadlock. We're Duolingo, you know? Love the drilling. Yeah, I fucking knew you would, eh?
It's like okay, I guess we're not.
Oh yeah! Good start, good start. Wait, they don't have initiator. But they do have an ISO. Part of trade? Ah! I thought you meant other drillings you enjoy as well. Because I'd be like, sounds about right now, sounds about right.
See?
Slayer, how you doing? How you doing? How's your weekend?
Spike planted.
Huh? Wait, they walk through Gary? Oh no, they walk through CT.
Last player standing.
Shit, that how to check on hackers get dropped off that fun even though he's the best player on her.
That's like
I think it's unfortunate, but like he knew what he was signing up for, and it's just a really unlucky situation that like he did so well and yet he's not part of the team. But I hope that that's enough to show other teams that he's worth picking up. Because he did amazing. Am I hearing? No, it's because you're part of the trade, Nas. Because you're part of the trade. Not worth it? I can't really hear it over my headphones. It's probably loud. It comes across louder on the mic than it does to me.
Shadows traveling.
Eh?
I'm surely.
I got one!
Spike down A. Spike planted.
I think hearing is part of the generic too.
I'm out of here.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. Wait, healing though.
Last player standing.
Because they're amazing, probably one race a weekend is always fun. That's true! We were just talking about it earlier today. A little bit earlier. The F1. Well actually more specifically, they were talking about Lando Norris and Leclerc girlies. There's any crap player on the team and they drop that much firepower. Minivu brings as much, no, I feel like. I don't watch EMEA because the hours are like the worst for us. Like it's like 3-4 AM, so I can't watch them. But I feel like Minivu brings just as much, no? Rotetto? Oh my lord.
One enemy remaining.
Holy!
If pain is a lesson,
Go off team! They got pulled last night.
You're all more important than words.
McLaren, right? I reckon so far pickers have won me money. I also watch Pacific and Americas because Pacific is obviously perfect time because we're kind of Pacific. So Americas is because it's at like 7-8 AM for us. So I just watch it during work. I wonder who's playing tomorrow though. Tonight it's Bleen, I think?
Oh well?
Oh well? Hello. Hey. Oh, okay, grass. Nice.
Target spotted.
It's you and me.
Do we need to push?
Enemy spotted mid.
Cypher was C long.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid.
This guy's also.
Nice team! Woohoo! That's the best team specifically. You can't tell me otherwise unless you're DRX on Haven.
What do we learn by
I agree. Oh, PRX and Genji. I feel like Genji's pretty good as well. Because PRX supporting, I love that team. Did you watch the game yesterday? They did so well. I feel like PRX is, as I said this earlier, DRX is kryptonite. Like they just have no chance at the moment of beating them. I feel like.
Yo, can you buy me?
Oh, yes,
Let's see
sorry.
how it goes.
I was fixing my webcam.
The hunt begins.
A.
Right there.
Distraction.
Fuck me.
I know exactly where you are.
Spike planted.
Oh, our Neon's a Bucky only Neon. She's got 6 point. I was like checking. She's got 6.5k and she's still buying Buckies. So.
If I may, I'll go in first. I need a gun.
Get Neon to buy. Okay, they're either Bucky or fucking off, eh? Jesus. There's no in between. Did you watch the PRX game yesterday, Slayer? Yeah.
Saw you, Mosh. Enemy spotted. Go get him.
Reloading.
Yes, I did. They're playing so well, and they have a second. They have a second coach now.
Last player standing.
They have a second coach now, which is unexpected. Yeah, I don't know what Neon's doing.
My advice: don't get shot.
Say it.
Don't be shot.
I like it. I like it. Are you playing long with your Marshall?
Oh yeah, Marshall.
This is business.
Oh!
What? Got me through the wall. It's a Cypher 72.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted C.
Oh, I saw her in the front. The trip was so deep.
Last player standing.
The trip was so. Oh my!
Oh my goodness.
Why?
Match point.
Listen up. I'm out of here.
What do we do?
Well, our Neon wants to buy a gun for the first time, so it's all good. I think that's a good step
Is this
forward.
the turning point? Like, she gets a gun? Like, that's
It
not a
is.
Bucky?
I think so. It might be.
A Bucky or an op?
I will be their nightmare.
My goodness.
Shadows traveling.
Coming, eh?
Tough game? Yeah, rough game. But it's okay. I'm Diamond, and even if I lose this game, I've only got 5 to lose, so it's okay.
Oh, she's dead.
I
Throwing
know.
net.
Enemy spotted A. It's all you, little homie.
Spike planted.
It's you and me.
Oh,
Enemy spotted A. Dizzy's up.
You had your fun.
Dizzy has target.
My turn.
Cover going out.
Oh!
One enemy remaining.
My ultimate is
My buddy's
ready.
defusing.
Last player standing. Attackers win.
Wait! Wait, what the fuck happened? Wait! That's crazy. Oh my god, I actually thought we won.
I thought so too.
I thought we won! And then... Oh my god.
Oh no.
Clean up on aisle 5.
That's actually crazy.
That's fucked.
You guys lined up.
Oh, I was holding the baby. But yeah, she just sprayed us both down. Dang
Oh,
it.
that's rough.
That is rough. How much did you lose?
19. I think it's just 19 all around.
Oh.
Normal amount.
I lost 19 too. Alright, I'm going to be done. I'm gonna go get some food.
Yeah.
But
Same.
we'll probably be on again later.
Alright.
We'll get you that ass too. The second ass.
No doubt. I'll get immortal next season. It's all
I
good.
believe. Alright, I'll catch you in a bit. Okay, bye. Okay. What are you planning to have? I don't actually know. I just want something like not healthy. I just want something like a nice weekend Sunday food that I don't, you know, have to be like rice and veggies and a good protein. You know, I want something shite. Oh. What have you got planned for the rest of your day? Cheat meal? But not really, because I eat shit like all the time. But yeah, what do you guys have planned for the rest of your days? Fried chicken, mac and cheese. Oh, I could do with mac and cheese. I fucking love mac and cheese. Yum. That sounds bloody delish. Alright, I think I'm going to end my stream here. I'm going to chill. I'm going to get food and wind down on a Sunday night by probably playing more games later. I'm not gonna lie. But we made it to Diamond! Fish sleep is slow. Meg Ryan's hair is the best. Meg Ryan is stunning. She is beautiful. Enjoy after. Thanks, Corey. Enjoy the rest of your night as well. Take care, everyone. I'll be back again in 3 days. Oh my god, enjoy your other movie as well, Hype Monkey One. But don't sleep too late. I know it's getting late for you, but you shouldn't sleep. Stay up to watch the movie. Make sure you get enough rest. Have a fun evening. Thanks, Lay. You too, you too. Enjoy your fried chicken with mac and cheese, and know that I'm incredibly jealous that that's what you're having to eat. Take care, you too. Take care, everyone. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for chilling with me. I hope to see you all in 3 days. Yeah. Have a lovely day / night wherever you are. Drink water, wear sunscreen, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.